My wife is a top lawyer, earning millions a year. Her mother has always thought I'm not worthy of her. Nitpicking at home every day. That day, my mother-in-law gathered the whole family again and sat on the 7th-floor window ledge, threatening to die. This poor thing. You must divorce me today. If you don't, I'll jump. My wife cried as she looked at me, and I drew out a divorce agreement from my briefcase and signed it. Auntie, take it easy. Don't really fall and hurt yourself. My mother-in-law didn't expect me to be so decisive. She froze for a moment, then sneered. Know your place. Get lost. I nodded, turned around, and left. 3 hours later, my wife was fired by the agency overnight. And her biggest client pulled the case. The whole family panicked and frantically called me. I looked at the screen and switched my phone to silent. 01. Zhao Mailan sat on the 7th-floor windowsill, her legs hanging outside. The living room was crowded with people. Father-in-law Shen Dihai, younger brother-in-law Shen Yaohu, 2 aunts, 3 cousins, and a few neighbors she had temporarily called over. Everyone was looking at me. I stood at the door, still holding my briefcase. Shen Qingli stood by the window, her face terribly pale. She is the top lawyer at Taihe law firm, earning $1 million a year. Picked up at the door, followed to court, and every relative at home mentions her with face. As for me, Su Yan, in Zhao Mailan's words, has always been that poor beggar who relies on others. Zhao Mailan gripped the window frame, yelling at the top of her lungs. You must leave today. If this poor wretch won't go away for a day, I won't be able to sleep for a day. Qingli, if you still regard me as your mother, divorce him immediately. Shen Qingli's eyes were reddened. Mom, you go down first. Zhao Mailan sneered coldly. Me go down? Should I come down so he can keep loafing around at our house? Is he someone who runs a shabby consulting firm? Is he worthy of you? You make more money from one case than he does in a year. Shen Yaozu leaned against the edge of the sofa, holding his phone to shoot a video. Sis, with mom like this, what are you hesitating for? Just a man. If he's gone, we'll find another. And also urged them along. Qingli, your mom is doing this for your own good. You are young and beautiful now, and you have a career. Why bother with a useless man? What has he helped you with? Have you bought a house and a car for the family in these years? Has he ever contributed a single cent? I glanced at Shen Qingli. She didn't look at me. She just bowed her head, fingers clutching the hem of her clothes. This house was bought by me before my marriage. It is written in Shen Qingli's name. That car was bought with the first consulting fee I received from the Hongqing Group. It is also under the name of Shen Qingli. The Tahi law firm almost went bankrupt back then, and I handed the long-term legal counsel contract of the Hongqing Group to her. With that contract, she became a candidate for partner at the law firm. These things Zhao Mailan does not know. The Shen family doesn't know either. Shen Qingli knows, but she has never spoken of them. I never asked her to say it either. On the day of the wedding, she held my hand and said, Su Yan, I will protect you. Later, she became busier and busier. So busy that Zhao Mailan knocked my cup over. She said to endure it. So busy that Shen Yaozu took my car to hit someone. She said a family shouldn't haggle over it. So busy that Zhao Mailan, in front of relatives, called me a waste. She said old people are chatty. Not intentional. Today, Zhao Mailan sat on the windowsill. She still hadn't said anything. Shen Qingli finally looked up at me. Her voice was trembling. Su Yan, how about we sign an agreement first? Just calm down my mom first. Wait until she comes down, and then we'll talk. The living room suddenly fell silent. Zhao Mailan's eyes lit up. Shen Yaozu also put down his phone and laughed. Cuckold brother-in-law, did you hear that? Be sensible. I looked at Shen Qingli. Sign first. Her tears fell. I can't do it. Those 4 words were colder than Zhao Mailan sitting on the windowsill. I nod. Okay. Shen Qingli was stunned. Zhao Mailan was also surprised for a moment. I placed the briefcase on the coffee table and unzipped the zipper. Inside there is a document. It's not a temporary print. It is the divorce agreement I had the lawyer draft 2 months ago. I spread out the agreement and took out a pen. Shen Qingli's gaze fixed on the heading, and her expression changed at once. Had you already prepared everything? I did not answer. I flipped to the last page and signed my own name. Su Yan. The tip of the pen glided across the paper, and only that sound remained in the living room. Zhao Mailan leaned from the to look out. Did you really sign? I snapped the cap onto my pen. I did sign. I pushed the agreement toward Shen Qingli. The house belongs to you. The car belongs to you. The family savings belong to you. The debts and credits under my name personally have nothing to do with you. Shen Yaozu laughed softly first. Sister, he's quite self-aware. Knowing there's nothing to share, Zhao Milan immediately pulled back one leg from the windowsill. Her voice is sharp. If only you had done this sooner. It would have been over. Stop pretending to be so sentimental. Qingli, sign it. Shen Qingli fixed the agreement with her eyes. Her hands unmoving. She looked at me. Su Yan. Stop messing around. I looked at her calmly. Didn't you say we should sign first? Her lips moved. Didn't say a word. Zhao Milan is anxious. What are you still standing there for? He signed it himself. Sign quickly. Shen Dihai also spoke. Qingli, your mother isn't well. Don't. Shen Qingli closed her eyes for a moment and picked up the pen. When she signed, her hands trembled violently. The 3 characters of Shen Qingli were written crooked and uneven. I picked up the agreement and stored it in the briefcase. Zhao Milan crawled down from the windowsill and patted her pants. She had been fighting for life and death just now. But now she walked very steadily. The neighbors exchanged glances and said nothing. Zhao Milan stepped in front of me. Know your place. Get lost quickly. Don't ever bother my daughter again. I watch her. Auntie, you slow down. Don't really slip and fall. Zhao Milan's face darkens. What do you mean? I ignored her. I turned and headed for the door. Shen Qingli chased after 2 steps. Su Yan. I stop. Her voice is very soft. Where are you going tonight? I look back at her. None of your business. She stood there stiffly. Zhao Milan immediately swore. What attitude are you showing? I opened the door. The motion sensor light outside the door came on. I walked out and pressed the elevator button. Behind me, Zhao Milan's triumphant voice sounded. Qingli, stop looking. It's a good thing this man left. Mom will arrange a blind date for you tomorrow. The elevator doors opened. I walk in. The phone vibrated in my pocket. A message popped up on the screen. It was sent by Han Qishan, chairman of Macroching Group. Mr. Su, does Tahi Law Firm still need to stay there? I looked at that line of text. I pressed reply. Not staying. The elevator doors closed. 02. When I left the Shen family, it was 7:20 in the evening. It was raining outside. I didn't take a taxi. I walked to the gate of the compound with my umbrella and got into a black business car. Driver Lao Zhou looked back at me. President Su, back to the company or to the apartment? Return to the company. Old Zhou glances at me in the rearview mirror. He didn't ask much. The car drove out of the community. The phone starts to vibrate. The first call is from Shen Qingli. I didn't answer. The second call is also from her. The third connection is Shen Dihai. The fourth connection is Shen Yaozu. The fifth connection is Zhao Milan. I put my phone on silent and clipped it to the seat. Old Zhou says, is something wrong over at the Shen family? I look out the window. No. Nothing. We're divorced. Old Zhou paused. The car slowed by half a second. President Su. Should we notify legal? Already notified. The rain hits the car window. The lights at the community gate are getting farther away. I close my eyes. But the mind is still clear. This marriage didn't die today. It died the first time Zhao Milan pointed at my nose and cursed me as a beggar. It died when Shen Yaozu hit someone and asked me to go apologize. Dying. Shen Qingli clearly knew the truth, yet told me to endure it again and again. Today I only signed the papers. 2 hours later, the top-floor conference room of Tahi Law Firm still had the lights on. Shen Qingli had just rushed from the Shen family to the law firm. She was supposed to have an important video conference tonight. The merger and acquisition case of 3 subsidiaries under the Hongqing Group, involving 1.7 billion. She is the one who handles this case. As long as it goes smoothly, she will officially be promoted to senior partner by the end of the year. When she pushed open the meeting room door, 7 people were seated inside. Partner in charge Yu Xingheng sat in the main seat. Shui Lan, legal director of Hongqing Group, sat opposite. On the table lay a letter of termination of cooperation. Shen Qingli froze in her tracks. Director Yu, General Manager Shui, what's going on? No one replied. Yu Xingheng's expression was ugly. Shui Lan pushed the document over. Lawyer Shen, Hongqing Group has decided to terminate all cooperation with Taihe law firm. Shen Qingli thought she had heard it wrong. All of it. Xue Lan nodded, including the ongoing merger and acquisition case, the equity dispute case, and the annual legal counsel contract. The conference room was deathly quiet. Shen Qingli lowered her voice. President Xue, is there some misunderstanding somewhere? We also confirmed the materials for tomorrow in the afternoon. Xue Lan looked at her. There isn't any misunderstanding. This is the board's decision. Shen Qinglei immediately looked at Yu Xingheng. Director, I can explain to Mr. Han. If it's a matter of the plan, I can redo it tonight. Xue Lan interrupted her. It's not a matter of the plan. Shen Qingli's face paled by a notch. What kind of problem is that? Xue Lan didn't speak immediately. She picked up the pen on the desk and tapped the document lightly. Lawyer Shen. You should know better than I. Shen Qingli's fingers clenched. A name flashed through her mind. Su Yan. But she immediately denied it. Impossible. Su Yan is only doing corporate consulting. He knows a few bosses. But he cannot influence Hongqing Group. It is even less possible for Hongqing Group to withdraw the case overnight. Yu Xingheng finally spoke. Qingli, what exactly happened between you and Hongqing? Do you know how important this client is to the law firm? 40% of our annual revenue comes from Hongqing. Shen Qingli's voice dried up. I didn't offend Hongqing. Xue Lan looked at her. Then whom did you offend? Shen Qingli remained silent. The meeting room door was pushed open. The human resources director walked in. Holding another document. Yu Xingheng closed his eyes. Qingli, the partners committee at the law firm has just convened an emergency meeting. From now on, you pause all client work. All cases in hand should be transferred. Your employment relationship must also be terminated. Shen Qingli raised her head abruptly. Director, is it because Hongqing withdrew the case that you want to dismiss me? Yu Xingheng's face grew paler. It's not that I want to dismiss you. The partnership committee unanimously decided. Applying to Hongqing. Any future business from Taihe should not be touched by you. Several other clients are also watching from the sidelines. We can't bear it. Shen Qingli stood in place. As if drained of all strength. She has fought her way up since entering the industry. All the way to today. She has burned the midnight oil countless times and won countless tough battles. She thought she relied on her abilities. But now, a single letter brought her down from the height. Xue Lan tucked away the documents. Lawyer Shen. Please handle the handover as soon as possible. The new Hongqing team will be on site at 9 tomorrow morning. Shen Qingli fixed her gaze on her. Who is the new agency team? Xue Lan gave her a glance. Su's Consulting Legal Affairs Collaboration Center. A thunderous noise rang in Shen Qingli's mind. Su sure consults. She knew Su Yan had opened a consulting company. She had never asked what the company was called. Because Zhao Mainland said that. It was a small workshop. She also assumed as such. Her voice trembled. Who is in charge of Su's consulting? Xue Lan did not avert her gaze. Su Yan. Everyone in the conference room looked at Shen Qingli. Yu Xingheng's face changed. Su Yan. Your husband. Shen Qingli opened her mouth. She wanted to say that he is no longer her husband. The three of them had just signed the divorce agreement a few hours ago. But this sentence stuck in the throat. Unable to be spoken. A phone rang at this moment. It was Zhao Mainland. Shen Qingli didn't answer. A WeChat message quickly popped up on the screen. Qingli, hurry back. Your younger brother says someone called the bank. The mortgage approval has been halted. The next moment. Shen Yaozu also called. Shen Qingli picked up. Shen Yaozu's voice was sharp and urgent again. Sis. It's over. My new car. The 4S shop says the loan can't go through. They also said there are problems with my previous guarantee documents. Could it be something wrong at your law firm? Shen Qingli pinched her phone. Her knuckles whitening. Yu Xingheng stared at her. Qingli, how badly did you offend Su Yan? 03. Shen Qingli had returned to the Shen family house and was nearly 11 o'clock. Zhao Mainland sat in the living room. Her face no longer as smug as it had been 3 hours earlier. Shen Yaozu walked back and forth in the room. Shen Dihai held a cigarette. Smoking one after another. Aunt and the cousins haven't left yet. They were supposed to stay to celebrate after the divorce dinner. Now no one dares to pick up a chopstick. The dishes on the table have cooled. Zhao Mainland stood up as soon as she saw Shen Qinglu enter. Qingli. What happened? How did your brother's car loan get stopped? The bank says our family's credit information needs to be re-examined. Aren't you a senior barrister? Quickly give them a call. Shen Qingli stood at the door, not even bothering to change her shoes. She looked at every face in the living room. 3 hours ago, these people forced her to sign. Now, they've pushed all the questions back onto her again. Shen Yaozu charged over. Sister, did you offend the client? I just asked around. Taihe law firm ran into trouble. There are people online saying Hongqing withdrew the case. Zhao Mailan's expression changed. Withdraw the case. What case are you noting withdrawn? Shen Qingli's voice was hoarse. I was fired by the law firm. The living room fell quiet for a second. Zhao Mailan widened her eyes. What did you say? Shen Qingli repeated it. I was laid off. Shen Yaozu's phone almost fell to the ground. Shen Qingli looked at him. Because Hongqing Group terminated the cooperation. Because I can no longer be involved in any of their business. Zhao Mailan grew anxious. Then you go sue them. You're a lawyer. What are you afraid of? How come they can just resign with that rhetoric? Shen Qingli smiled briefly. Very light. Mom, do you know how much money Taihe earns for Hongqing each year? Hongqing. In one sentence. The director personally asked me to hand over the responsibilities. Zhao Mailan was stunned. Shen Dihai frowned. Why did Hongqing suddenly retreat? Shen Qingli did not say a word. Shen Yaozu reacted first. Couldn't be Su Yan. Could it? Zhao Mailan immediately cursed. Shit. What capability does he have? Does he have the ability to endure and stay silent in our family for 3 years? No one spoke. This sentence, spoken in the living room. Even Zhao Mailan herself felt uncertain about it. Shen Qingli took out her phone. She had already called Su Yan 27 times. Not a single one got through. There was no reply on WeChat either. She opened the chat box. The last message was sent by her 3 days ago. Don't wait you. Tea for me tonight. Client dinner. Su Yan replied with a single character. Okay. Earlier still, it was her who asked Su Yan to handle the car accident for Shen Yaozu. Su Yan only replied with a single character. Fine. Even earlier, it was Zhao Mailan who told him not to join the table for a meal. Su Yan did not return. Shen Qingli suddenly realized that over the year, Su Yan spoke fewer and fewer words. So little that she thought he was sensible. So little that she forgot. One person's silence does not mean they have no temper. Zhao Mailan leaned in. Hit him. Make him come back at once. Is he talking nonsense outside? Qingli, tell him that as long as he sorts things out, I can let him come back to eat a meal. Shen Qingli looked up at her. Mom. Do you think he still treats the idea of coming back for a meal as something special? Zhao Mailan's face stiffened. What else does he want? Isn't it just divorce? All the agreements have been signed. I've given you the house and the car. And you still want to back out? Shen Qingli closed her eyes. He didn't mean to back out. We have to beg him. Zhao Mailan looked as if someone had stepped on her tail. Beg him? Me asking him? I sat on the windowsill today. And he didn't dare stop me. He's just a coward. The doorbell suddenly rang. Everyone looked toward the door. Shinyatsu ran over to open the door. 2 men in suits stood outside. A middle-aged man handed over his business card. Is this Mrs. Shen Qingli's residence? Shen Qingli walked over. I am. The middle-aged man handed her a document. Ms. Shen. I am Mr. Su's entrusted lawyer. Zhou Ting. This is the formal divorce agreement confirmation letter and property disclosure. Zhao Mailan rushed up as soon as she heard the lawyer. What property description? All the houses and cars belong to my daughter now. The agreement is clearly written. Zhou Ting glanced at her. The agreement indeed states plainly that the real estate and vehicles currently registered under Ms. Shen's name belong to Ms. Shen. Zhao Mailan let out a sigh. Then what are you coming here for? Zhou Ting flipped open the file. But the down payment for this property under Ms. Shen's name came from Mr. Su's personal account before marriage. The full payment for the vehicle also comes from Mr. Su's personal account before marriage. Mr. Su has already given up the division, which does not represent the debt waiver attached to the gift relationship. Shen Qingli's face paled. What do you mean? Zhou Ting spoke in a steady tone. It means Mr. Su is not fighting over the house or the car, but for the loans related to the house and car, maintenance, taxes, and the amounts advanced by Mr. Su for Mr. Shen Yaozu's vehicle accident compensation. Settlement should be done according to the attached agreement. Shen Yaozu jumped up. What's it to you? Zhou Ting looked at him. In November last year, you hit Mr. Su's car from behind. And Mr. Su advanced the compensation of 386,000 yuan. In March this year, you borrowed 250,000 yuan from Mr. Su on the grounds of starting a business. In June this year, your mother, Ms. Zhao, borrowed 180,000 yuan from Mr. Su, claiming it was for renovations. The above all have transfer records and chat logs. Everyone in the living room changed color. Zhao Mailand screams. That is him showing filial respect to us. Zhou Ting put another copy on the coffee table. In the chat records, Ms. Zhao wrote that it was a loan. Mr. Shen Yaozu wrote that it would be next month. Mr. Su reserves the right of recourse. Zhao Mailand reached out to tear the document. The assistant behind Zhou Ting stepped forward. Ms. Zhao. Tearing up the copies is pointless. The original has been notarized. Zhao Mailand's hand paused in midair. Shen Qingli looked at those documents. Taking a breath that tightened. Su Yan didn't suddenly become cruel. He had prepared long ago. Zhou Ting took out another sheet of paper. In addition, Mr. Su asked me to relay this to Ms. Shen. Meet at the Civil Affairs Bureau and trance at 9:00 tomorrow morning. If Madam Shen is not present, Mr. Su will sue for divorce in court according to the agreement. Zhao Mailand immediately shouted. He dares. Zhou Ting looked at her. Ms. Zhao. Mr. Su also asked me to tell you something. The living room quieted down. Zhou Ting closed the file. He said, from today, don't call him son-in-law anymore. You don't deserve it. Zhao Mailand's face suddenly flushed red. She opened her mouth to curse. Shen Qingli's phone rang at this moment. The screen shows a stranger's number. She answered. A low voice came from the other end of the line. Qingli. Check the mailbox immediately. Macro Cheng just sent the second letter. They will hold you responsible for disclosing client information. The letter was copied to the Bar Association. Shen Qingli's hand slipped on the phone. Zhou Ting looked at her. His voice even. Ms. Shen. Mr. Su also said. This is only the first one. 04. Shen Qingli held the phone. Her fingertips cold as ice. Yu Xingheng's voice was still on the call. Hongcheng has submitted screenshots of your and the client's information exchanges. They think you took the merger and acquisition draft home with you without authorization. And there is a risk of leakage. If the Law Association files a case, your practice license could be suspended. Shen Qingli's mind buzzed with a hum. I did not disclose client information. Yu Xingheng was silent for 2 seconds. Qingli. Whether I believe it or not doesn't matter. Now what matters for Macro Cheng is attitude. The law firm has decided to cooperate with the investigation. Shen Qingli understood it. Cooperate with the investigation means pushing her out. Her throat tightened. Director. I am in Taihe Year 7. Hongcheng's case is one I stayed up all night for. Now that something happened, you won't even investigate. And you're already blaming me. Yu Xingheng sighed. Don't blame me. You should ask Su Yan. The call was dropped. Everyone in the living room looked at Shen Qingli. Zhao Mailand reacted first. What did he say? What leaked customer information? Shen Qingli said nothing. She lowered her head and opened the inbox. The latest email came from the Legal Affairs Department of Hongqing Group. The title is very short. A letter of inquiry regarding Shen Qingli, a lawyer at Taihe Law Firm, suspected of violating confidentiality obligations. There are 3 photos in the attachment. The first one is a set of merger and acquisition materials that she placed in her home study. The second one is a screenshot of Shen Yaozu taking photos of the materials and posting them on Moments. The third one is someone leaving a comment under Mom. NTS. Brother Yaksu. What is this big project? Shen Yaozu replies. Everyone who understands knows about my sister's multi-billion-dollar MA case. A darkness swallowed Shen Qingli's vision. She jerked her head up and looked at Shen Yaozu. Did you touch the materials in my study? Shen Yaozu was startled for a moment. I just took a photo of a table. Who knows what kind of document that is? Shen Qingli's voice trembled. How many times have I told you not to enter my study? Shen Yaozu immediately refused to accept it. I didn't steal anything from you. Besides, I already deleted that post from Moments long ago. Zhou Ting stood to the side. Speaking calmly, Deleting it won't affect evidence collection. Screenshot time. Forwarding path. And traces left in the backend can all be recovered. Shen Yaozu's face drained of color. Zhao Mailan rushed to Shen Qingli's side. Qingli, don't scare your brother. He's just posting something on Moments. It's not that serious. You're a lawyer. You can surely fix this. Shen Qingli looked at her and suddenly smiled. Mom, this isn't a quarrel between neighbors. This is a 1.7 billion takeover deal. Zhao Mailan was scared by her tone. Shen Dihai finally stubbed out the cigarette. Qingli. Right now the most important thing is to find Su Yan. Since this matter was caused by him. Let him stop. Zhao Mailan immediately responded. Yeah. Call him. Tell him I was just venting today. Let him stop making trouble. Shen Qingli lowered her head to look at the call log. 27 missed calls. WeChat did not respond. She suddenly remembered that look in her eyes Ram a few hours ago when Su Yan left. Calm. No anger. No farewell. There is no disappointment. Like someone who has already settled the accounts. Shen Qingli dialed the phone. This time, the phone rang for a long time. Just when everyone thought it wouldn't connect. Su Yan's voice came from the receiver. Got a problem. The living room fell silent in an instant. Shen Qingli gripped the phone tightly. Su Yan. Was Hongqing's matter something you did? There was silence on the other end of the line. After 2 seconds. Su Yan said. Yes. Shen Qingli's eyes reddened at once. She thought he would at least deny it. But he admits it too readily. Why? Su Yan's voice was calm. Because Hongqing's contract was given to you by me. Now I don't want to give it anymore. Shen Qingli gasped. Zhao Mailan heard these words and immediately let out a sharp cry. Su Yan. What do you mean? On what basis do you withdraw my daughter's client? There was a brief silence on the other end of the line. Su Yan spoke lightly. Ms. Zhao. Your daughter's client. Are you sure? Zhao Mailan choked up. Shen Qingli bit her lip. Su Yan. Hongqing is very important to me. I know. Then could you not go all out and do it decisively? Su Yan chuckled softly. That laugh was light. Yet it sent a chill through Shen Qingli's heart. Shen Qingli. When your mother sat on the windowsill. You told me to sign first. Your brother hit someone. I went to handle the aftermath. Your mother, in front of all the relatives, called me a poverty-stricken beggar. You tell me to endure. Have you ever considered not jumping to conclusions just because you think my things are taken for granted? Shen Qingli's tears fell. I couldn't do anything at that time. Yes. Su Yan says. You'll never be able to. So now. I also can't. Zhao Mailan snatched the phone. Su Yan. Don't push your luck and act ungrateful. The agreement is signed. The house and car have all been given to Qingli. What else do you want? Do you believe I'll go to your company to make trouble? Su Yan's voice grew colder. You can come. But I have the video of you sitting on the windowsill here as well. Zhao Mailan was stunned. Su Yan continued speaking. You threaten him with suicide to force a divorce. Your whole family surrounds me to sign the agreement. Shen Yaozu was filmed in its entirety. If necessary, I will hand over the complete information to the police and the court. The flush on Zhao Mailan's face faded a little. Shen Yaozu hurriedly flipped through his phone. I deleted it. Zhou Ting gave him a glance. Cloud synchronization. Shen Yaozu's hand froze. Shen Qinglu took the phone back. Her voice was hoarse, unrecognizable as her own. Su Yan. Tomorrow at the Civil Affairs Bureau. You must go. Right. Su Yan remained silent for a moment. I will go. Is it possible to talk again? No. 2 characters fell. As if the door were finally slammed shut. Closes her eyes. How about that side of Hongqing? Su Yan said. Handle it according to the law. Shen Qingli. You are a lawyer. You should know better than anyone that every signature you've written and everything you've done comes with a price. The phone hung up. The living room was deathly silent. Zhao Mailan suddenly felt weak in the knees and sat down on the sofa. Shen Yaozu kept muttering. Impossible. How could he have such great abilities? Shen Dihai's face turned ashen. Before going to the Civil Affairs Bureau tomorrow, he must change his tune. Zhao Mailan grabbed onto a lifeline. Yes. Let's go together tomorrow. I just don't believe it. He really dares to push things to this extent. Shen Qingli opens her eyes. She looked at the rain-wet glass outside the window and suddenly remembered when Su Yan first came to the Shen family. Standing at the door with a gift. Smiling and calling mom. At that time, Zhao Milan didn't even let him step inside the door. She said that at that time as well. Su Yan. Don't mind it. Now she understands. He doesn't mind. He just kept every grievance written down in today's ledger. At this moment, Shen Qingli's phone buzzed again. A strange text message popped up. Lawyer Shen. I'm a staff member from the Law Association investigation team. Please come to the association at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning to undergo questioning. Shen Qingli fixed her gaze on the time, her face turning completely pale. At 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, she will go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to divorce. At 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, she will go to the Bar Association to undergo an investigation. And a news push popped up again at the bottom of the screen. Hongqing Group's 1.7 billion acquisition case temporarily changes the new person in charge is suspected to be the mysterious business consultant Su Yan. 05. The next morning at 8:30. The Civil Affairs Bureau had already lined up quite a few people. Someone came hand in hand to register the marriage. Someone came with red eyes to divorce. Shen Qingli stood at the bottom of the steps, wearing the outfit from yesterday. She hadn't slept all night. Zhao Milan has come too. She wore a mask and sunglasses, claiming she was afraid neighbors would see her. But in fact she was afraid Su Yan would really use the video to make trouble. Shen Yaozu also followed. His face looked grim, and his phone had not stopped all night. Banks, car dealerships, debt collecting calls, and friends you used to dine and drink with, all of them changed their faces the moment they heard the wind. Shen Dihai stood at the very edge, his face calm and expressionless. At 8:50, a black business car parked by the roadside. The car door opened, and Su Yan got out. He wears a black coat and holding no umbrella. The rain has stopped, but there are still puddles on the ground. The moment Shen Qingli saw him, a sting pricked at her heart. He is still the Su Yan. Only today, there is no warmth in the look she gives him. Zhao Milan was the first to rush over. Su Yan, you've finally come. Yesterday's matter was all a misunderstanding. Su Yan's steps did not stop. Zhao Milan reached out to stop it. Old Zhou stepped forward, blocking in front of her. Ms. Zhao, please keep your distance. Zhao Milan was blocked by a driver and immediately became furious. Who do you think you are? I'm talking to my son-in-law. Do you have a say in this? Su Yan stops in his tracks. He looks at Zhao Milan. First, I am not your son-in-law. Second, he is my driver, and also the administrative head of Su's Consulting. Third, if you insult my staff again, I will call the police. A look of pale and flushed alternating across Zhao Milan's face. Shen Yaozu couldn't help but speak up. Brother-in-law, there's no need. Right, we are all family. Su Yan turned to look at him. You owe me 81,600. Pay it before 5 o'clock this afternoon. Shen Yaozu jumped up in an instant. What 81,600? You're cheating people. Su Yan said lightly. 386,000 in accident compensation. 250,000 startup loan. 180,000 renovation loan. And the 6,000 you charged to my credit card. Shen Yaozu's face changed dramatically. Wasn't that card you gave me for my use? I bought you breakfast before. Does that count as authorizing you to overdraw? Shen Yaozu was at a loss for words. Zhao Milan quickly steered the topic back. Su Yan, the money matters will be discussed later. You'd better withdraw Heck Qing over there. Qingli, you can't lose your job. Su Yan looked at her. She has already lost her. Then let her go back. Tell that Han Dong or whatever it is. You're quite capable, aren't you? Su Yan seemed to have heard something ridiculous. Ms. Zhao, what did you say I am yesterday? Zhao Milan's face stiffened in an instant. Su Yan answered for her. Poor thing. Trash. We didn't plant grow. Not worthy of your daughter. Now you want this poor fellow to help your daughter get back to the law firm. Zhao Milan gritted her teeth. I was anxious yesterday. You're a grown man. How can you still harbor resentment? Su Yan nodded. I don't harbor resentment. I'm only keeping accounts. Shen Qingli finally spoke. Mom, stop talking. She walked up to Su Yan. There is half a step between the two of them. In the past, whenever she furrowed her brow slightly, Su Yan would ask if she was tired. But today, he simply looked at her calmly. Shen Qingli spoke softly. Su Yan, I want to talk to you alone. Zhao Milan immediately objected. What is there to talk about alone? Don't be intimidated by him. He just wants to toy with you. Su Yan looked at Shen Qingli. You only have 5 minutes. Shen Qingli nodded. The two walked to the tree beside the Civil Affairs Bureau. Old Zhou stood not far away. Zhao Milan wanted to go over, but Shen Dihai grabbed her. Shen Qingli looked at Su Yan. She prepared a lot of words. Apology, explanation, entreaty, pleading, but when she stood before him, she couldn't utter a single complete sentence. In the end, she only said, I'm sorry. Su Yan didn't respond. Shen Qingli's eyes reddened. In these 3 years, I really did a lot of wrong things. I thought if you didn't speak, you could endure it. I thought I was busy with my career, and I could make it up to you later. I thought you would be here all along. Su Yan looked into the distance. You are a lawyer. The 2 words you should trust the least. Shen Qingli choked on her words. I know it's too late to say this now, but can we not pursue the matter about Hung for now? The Bar Association wants me to come for questioning at 10. If my practicing certificate is suspended, I'm finished for these few years. Xu Yan finally looked at her. Do you know Shen Yaozu posted the materials on Moments? Shen Qingli nodded. Just found out last night. Do you know you took client materials home? Which is already a violation. Shen Qingli's face turned pale. She wanted to argue but had no words to speak. Su Yan continued speaking. Every project I gave you. The contract includes a confidentiality clause. You are the hosting lawyer. You are more clear than anyone else. Shen Qingli lowered her head. I am willing to take responsibility, but can you not push me onto a dead end? Su Yan was silent for a while. Shen Qingli, when your mother sat on the windowsill, did you ever think that was also pushing me onto a dead end? Shen Qingli's tears fell. Su Yan's voice was steady. I lost my marriage. You lost your career. That's fair. Shen Qingli looked up at him. Between us, is there really only fairness left? Su Yan did not answer. His phone rang. The caller ID showed Han Qishan. Su Yan answered. Director Han. The voice on the other end of the line was not quiet. Shen Qingli could vaguely hear it. Mr. Su. The Law Association has already contacted us. Moreover, Tahi Yuzhingheng just personally came to me and said he is willing to remove Shen Qingli from the list in exchange for Hongqing retaining part of the cooperation. Shen Qingli's expression suddenly changed. Su Yan glanced at her. How do you say it? Han Qishan sneered. Taiha's problems are not small either. If Mr. Su nods, I'll have the audit come in today. Su Yan says, according to the contract, let there be accountability where it's due. Don't hold back. Shen Qingli stood in place, as if soaked through by the cold wind. Su Yan hung up the phone. She asked in a hoarse voice, are you going to move as well? Lian Tai. Su Yan pocketed his phone. Not that I want to move. They ate the bonuses they shouldn't have and now want to push all the responsibility onto you. Weren't you always sure you stood firm on your own ability? Now let's take a look at how many of the clients I've given you are still willing to protect you. Cannot speak a word. The Civil Affairs Bureau lobby starts calling numbers. Old Zhou walked over. Mr. Su. It's time. Su Yan turned around. Shen Qingli instinctively seized his sleeve. This is the first time in 3 years that she has actively begged him to stay. Su Yan lowered his head to take a look. Let go. Shen Qingli's fingers trembled. Finally, they loosened their grip. The two walked into the hall. Zhao Milan and Shen Yaohu attempted to follow in but were stopped outside by the staff. Half an hour later, the red divorce certificate was stamped. Shen Qingli looked at that thin certificate and suddenly felt like her entire world had emptied. Su Yan took the certificate without stopping. He stood up and left. Shen Qingli chased to the door. Su Yan. Su Yan stops, but does not turn around. Shen Qingli's voice trembles. If I start changing now, is there still a chance? Su Yan was silent for 2 seconds. No. After he finished speaking, he walked down the steps. A black business car slowly drove away. Zhao Milan rushed forward and grabbed Shen Qingliang's arm. How is it going? Did he agree? Shen Qingliang looked at the divorce certificate in her hand. We're done. Zhao Milan froze. Before she could speak again, a white sedan stopped at the Civil Affairs Bureau entrance. 2 uniformed officers got out and headed straight for Shen Qingli. Ms. Shen Qingli. We are staff members of the City Bar Association Disciplinary Committee. Please come with us now. Zhao Milan's face went pale. Shen Yaozu turned around and wanted to slip away. One of the staff members looked at him. Mr. Shen Yaozu. You also need to cooperate in explaining the information about the filming and distribution. Shen Yaozu's legs suddenly went weak. 06. The inquiry room of the Bar Association Disciplinary Committee isn't large. Under the white light, Shen Qingli sits at the desk. Her back straight. She is accustomed to controlling the pace in the conference room. Accustomed to subduing the other party with evidence, statutes, and logic. But now, she sits in the position of being questioned. The person opposite turns to the materials. Lawyer Shen, please confirm whether this draft of the merger case is under your custody. Shen Qingli's voice grew husky. Yes. Did you take the paper materials away from the law firm and place them in your home study? Yes. Whether to obtain written authorization from the client. Shen Qingli fell silent. The other party looked up at her. Please answer. No. The tip of the pen schemes across the paper. That sound was frighteningly quiet. Another staff member pushed the screenshot in front of her. Oh yes, this document in the photo involved the core transaction structure of the Macroching Group's acquisition project. Shen Qingli glanced at it. Although only a corner is visible in the photo, the project number and the target company's abbreviated name are clear enough to make out. She closed her eyes. Involves. What is your relationship with publisher Shen Yaozu? Brother. Is he a participant in the case? No. Will you sign a confidentiality agreement? No. Each problem is like a nail. The more Shen Qingli answered, the clearer she became that she could not argue her case. She really did not leak information intentionally, but in the face of law and professional discipline. Negligence is not a Gatudefault card. In the neighboring interview room, Shen Yaozu's voice could be heard through the wall. I really don't know why that's confidential. I'm just filming for fun. There are only a few people in my circle. Also, my sister is a lawyer. If anything happens, call her. Shen Qingli's fingers tightened a little. The staff looked up. Lawyer Shen, please keep your emotions in check. Shen Qingli released her hand. Sorry. The inquiry lasted for 2 hours. At the end, the other party closed the files. Until the investigation conclusions are released, we advise you to suspend taking on related business. Hongqing Group has already submitted a complaint dossier. The Tahi law firm has also submitted a statement of circumstances. Shen Qingli was sitting listening, hearing the two characters Tahi. Her heart sank. What did they say? The staff's tone was formal and businesslike. The Tahi law firm states that you personally took confidential materials out of the office area without the firm's approval. Such conduct does not comply with the firm's management requirements. Shen Qingli smiled. It turns out Yu Jinghengarie LLY pulled her out. When she stepped out of the interrogation room, Zhao Milan hurried over. How did it go? Did they give you a hard time? Shen Qingli didn't answer. She saw Shen Yaohu sitting on the hallway chair, his face pale, muttering in his mouth. Won't they arrest me? Zhao Milan said irritably. Don't scare yourself. What's the big deal about posting to Moments? Shen Qingli stopped in her tracks. Mom. Zhao Milan looks at her. Shen Qingli's voice is very soft. Do you still think you're okay up to now? Zhao Milan opened her mouth. I'm not saying I don't understand. You're a lawyer. You understand. You handle it. Shen Qingli looked at her. I've been fired. The practicing license may be suspended. Contemporary Cheng must be held accountable. Taiha shifts the responsibility onto me. Su Yan wants you to repay the money. What else do you want me to handle? Zhao Milan's face turned pale from what she said. After a while, she suddenly started to cry. What can I do then? I'm not doing this for your sake yet. What do people outside say about you during the 3 years you married Su Yan? They say you're so outstanding. Yet you married a useless man. As a mother, listening to that hurts my heart. Shen Qingli only felt it was absurd. So you forced me to divorce. And you just sit on the windowsill to threaten me. Zhao Milan wiped away her tears. I won't push you. Can you make up your mind? How could I know there are so many things going on behind his back? Shen Qingli suddenly didn't feel like talking anymore. Because she realized that Zhao Milan regrets not harming Su Yan. What she regrets is Su Yan being useful. Shen Dihai walked over from the stairwell. Stop making noise. The important thing now is to find someone to plead. Qingli. You didn't know quite a few clients before, did you? Have them help get in touch with Hongqing. Shen Qingli shook her head. Nobody would offend Hongqing for me. Shen Dihai frowned. What about Su Yan over there? You've been with him and his wife for 3 years. There's some affection between you. Zhao Milan spoke up immediately. Yes. Even if you kneel to him, That's fine. When a woman softens up, can he really not feel touched? Shen Qingli raises her eyes to look at her. When you told him to get lost yesterday, did you ever think about whether it would hurt his heart? Zhao Mailan was blocked and could not speak. At this moment, Shen Qingli's phone rang. It was a client with whom she used to have a good relationship. She hesitated for a moment and picked up. President Wang. The other end of the line was polite, but lacked warmth. Attorney Shen. I heard you've had some recent developments. Our company's equity incentive plan. We won't trouble you for now. Shen Qingli is holding a phone. Mr. Wang. The project has progressed to the third phase. I know, but our board is more cautious. We will replace the team later. The call ended. Then, another call came in. Attorney Shen. Sorry. We'll pause the contract review for now. Third call. Qingli. You handle your own matters first. We'll talk about cooperation later. Fourth call. The fifth letter. As if agreed upon. Those who once shouted Attorney Shinda at the dinner gatherings each removed her from their contact lists. Shen Qingli stood at the door of the bar association. Sunlight shining on her. Yet she trembled with cold. Shen Yaozu suddenly cried out. Mom! Zhao Mailan turned her head. What's wrong again? Shen Yaozu handed over the phone. Someone posted online, claiming that my sister rose to power through her husband's resources and was abandoned by clients on the day of the divorce. Zhao Mailan snatched the phone. The post title is glaring. The gold medal female lawyer character collapses. And the mysterious ex-husband behind the scenes is suspected to be the real puppeteer behind Hongqing. The comments below have exploded. No wonder she can handle such a big client like Hongqing at a young age. Her ex-husband's resources are fed to her mouth. And she still tolerates her family insulting people as poor ghosts. Isn't this just a real-life version of eating from a bowl and scolding when you put it down? Her brother even posts confidential documents on moments. What kind of brains does this whole family have? Shen Qingli looked at those words. Her face gradually losing color. Her sense of dignity that she cares about the most. The proudest reputation in her profession. Is being peeled away layer by layer. Zhao Mailan trembles with anger. Who posted it? Is it Su Yan? I'll go find him. She turned and walked away. Shen Qingli grabbed her with one hand. What else do you want to do? Zhao Mailan screeched. I'm going to scold him. He ruined you. Isn't that enough? Shen Qingli yelled at her for the first time. You ruined me. Zhao Mailan froze in place. Shen Qingliang's tears fell. Hongqing is the one who gave it to me. The house was bought by him. The car was bought by him. My younger brother caused trouble and he paid for it. You borrowed money for renovation and he gave it. You regard his goodness as saleless and his patience as cowardice. Now he can't endure it anymore. And you blame him for ruining me. People at the end of the corridor looked over. Zhao Mailan's lips trembled. Did you yell at me for him? Shen Qingli released her grip. I'm not doing this for him. I finally understand. Shen Yaozu crouched to the side, afraid to speak. Shen Dihai's face was grim, but he didn't speak again. At this moment, a black business car pulled up in front of the law association gate. The car door opened, and Su Yan got out. He was followed by Shui Lan and two men in suits. Shen Qingli was stunned. Su Yan also saw her. He did not stop. Only walked past her, like passing by a stranger. Shen Qingli instinctively spoke. Su Yan. Su Yan stopped. Her throat tightened. What are you doing here? Shui Lan answered on his behalf. General Manager Su represents Hongqing and Su's consulting. Submitting supplementary evidence. Shen Qingli's face turned even paler. Zhao Mailan suddenly rushed over and knelt in front of Su Yan with a thud. Su Yan. Auntie was wrong. Let Qingli go. The entire hall of the law society fell silent in an instant. Xu Yan looked down at her. Before he could speak, Shen Yaozu's phone suddenly rang. After he answered, his face turned pale as paper. Older sister. The court's people went to the house. They said the house had been subject to property preservation. 07. In the bar association hall. Zhao Mailan knelt very suddenly. She was about to rush forward to scold Su Yan just now that she heard the house had been preserved. Her knees went weak more than anyone else. Everyone around the people in charge turned to look over. The color in Shen Qingli's face faded little by little. Su Yan lowered his head and looked at Zhao Mailan, their eyes unflinching. Ms. Zhao. Get up. Zhao Mailan grabbed his pant leg. Su Yan. Auntie really knows she is wrong. You and Qingli. You've been married for 3 years. You can't be so ruthless. The house is Qingli's only backbone. You can't even move the house. Su Yan stepped back. Old Zhou immediately stepped in front of him. Zhao Mailan's hand grabbed emptiness, and she crouched awkwardly on the ground. Su Yan spoke calmly. I have already given her the house according to the agreement. I am applying for property preservation. To secure the money you owe me, not to snatch her house. Zhao Mailan's cries paused. Shen Yaohu's face grew incredibly pale. What do you mean by protecting our money? Su Yan looked at him. You owe me 816,000. Your mother owes me 180,000. And the other funds you took from me under the pretexts of buying a car and running close to turnover. Lawyer Zhou will itemize and verify. Shen Yaozu is anxious. That's money among family. Su Yan retorts. Are we still family now? Shen Yaozu choked. Zhao Mailan knelt on the ground. Her face alternating between pale and white. People around had already raised their phones. Shen Qingli finally came to her senses, bent down to help Zhao Mailan. Mom, get up. Zhao Mailan shook off her hand. Mind your own business. If he refuses to agree, I'll kneel here and die today. Su Yan glanced at her lightly. You sat on the windowsill yesterday. Today kneel in the hall. Ms. Zhao, the way you solve problems is always by forcing others. Zhao Mailan was pricked by that remark and looked up. Am I not doing this for my daughter? Su Yan looked at Shen Qingli. Shen Qingli, what do you think? Shen Qingli's throat felt as if something blocked it. She couldn't say yes. She couldn't say no. Because at this moment, she finally understood that what Zhao Mailan called doing it for her had always been built on sacrificing others. The sacrifice earlier was Su Yan. Now what is sacrificed is her dignity and face. Xuelon glanced at the time. President Su. The inquiry side is waiting. Su Yan nods and goes straight inside. Zhao Mailan tries to rush forward, but is stopped by Lao Zhou. Ms. Zhao, if you stop us again, we will call security. Zhao Mailan sits on the ground, crying even louder. There's no justice. My ex-in-law is going to push my mother-in-law to her death. All of you should take a Luke flips a switch once he becomes successful and disowns people. Su Yan paused in his tracks. He did not look back. Only spoke. Old Zhou. Old Zhou answered at once. President Su. Su Yan said. Record what she just said, along with the windowside video from yesterday. Hand everything to Lawyer Zhou. Zhao Mailan's crying abruptly stopped. Shen Yaozu hurriedly pulled her. Mom. Don't shout anymore. He really knows how to sue. Zhao Mailan's lips trembled, and she finally crawled up from the ground. Shen Qingli stood by the side and suddenly felt incredibly tired. She had once seen many involved parties in court. They tore at each other, shifted blame, cried and fussed, treating the law as a trash can for their emotions. Back then, she always felt that she was very clear-headed, but now she realized that her family was no different from those people at all. After Su Yan went in, Xuelon and the other 2 staff members quickly followed into the interrogation room. Only a few people from the Shen family remained in the hall. Shen Yaohu's phone rang again. He glanced at the number and hung up in fear. In the next second, the other side called again. Zhao Mailan became anxious and asked, Who is it? Shen Yaozu's voice sounded feeble. For S dealership. They said the loan was rejected, and I had to pay the full amount for the car. Zhao Mailan saw stars before her eyes. How much is it? Shen Yaozu cannot bear to look at her. Over 700,000. Shen Dihai finally couldn't help but curse. Why are you buying a car that costs more than 700,000? Shen Yaoyu immediately retorted. Didn't my sister say before that I need to have some prestige when I start a business in the future? Shen Qingli glanced up at him. When did I say so? Shen Yaozu froze for a moment. You didn't say anything. But you didn't oppose it either. Those words made Shen Qingli feel cold all the way to his chest. It turned out that in this home, her silence had long been treated by them as consent, just as Su Yan's silence had been regarded by her as something she could endure. She leaned against the wall. Steady. When her phone suddenly vibrated, it was an email from the administrative office of Taihe Law Firm. Shen Qingli clicked open. The email content is very brief. Due to personal reasons and impact from a client complaint, Shen Qingli is to complete the return of office items by 5:00 p.m. today. Access permissions will be closed at 6:00 p.m. She looked at the 4 characters' personal reasons. and suddenly smiled. 7 years. Countless early mornings. Countless drafts. Countless times negotiating under pressure for the law firm. In the end, I only received a single cold eviction notice. Shen Dihai leaned in. Qingli, what's wrong? Shen Qingli puts away her phone. I'm going back to the law firm to get something. Zhao Milan grabbed her at once. Do you still have the mind to grab something? We can't even keep the house anymore. Shen Qingli looked at her. The house won't disappear right away, but my job is gone. Zhao Milan froze. Shen Qingli turns and walks out. Shen Yaofu hurries to catch up. Sis, then what do I do? Will the bar association pursue me? Shen Qingli stops in her tracks. She looked at her younger brother whom the family held in the palm of their hands. Ever since they were little, whenever he got into trouble, someone would clean up after him. When he was a child, it was her father. Later it was her. Later it was Su Yan. So up to now he still only asks one question. What should I do? Shen Qingli spoke very softly. You bear it yourself. Shen Yaozu seemed to have heard a huge joke. I'm your younger brother. Shen Qingli closed his eyes. Su Yan is also my husband. I didn't shield him either. Shen Yaozu stiffened in place. Shen Qingli walked out the law association's gate, the sunlight piercing her eyes. She was about to flag down a car when her phone popped up with a news alert. Tahi law firm was subjected to a contract audit initiated by Hongqing Group, suspected of major client management lapses. Her fingers trembled. Then, a call from Yu Xingheng came through. Shen Qingli answered the call. On the other end of the line, Yu Xingheng's voice was low. Qingli, come to the law firm right now. Hongqing's audit team has just arrived. They're specifically asking to check every project you've handled. 08. The reception desk at Tahi law firm is still the same as before. The marble floor is polished to shine. And a row of award photos hangs on the wall. Shen Qingli had walked in here countless times before. At that time, the front desk would stand up and call her lawyer Shen. The interns would proactively press the elevator for her. Clients would wait for her in the meeting room. Their tone courteous and respectful, but as soon as she stepped inside the door today, the receptionist's smile stiffened on her face. Lawyer Shen, Director Yu is waiting for you in conference room No. 2. Shen Qingli nodded. As she walked in, she heard two assistants lowering their voices. She really came. Hongqing's people are inside too. I heard her access is going to be shut off. Shen Qingli's steps did not stop, but every word felt like a fine needle stabbing into her back. Two Macroqing audit personnel stood at the door of conference room No. 2. Shui Lan was also there. Yu Xingheng sits in the main seat, his face looking worse than yesterday. A pile of documents is stacked on the table. Shen Qingli pushes the door and walks in. Yu Xingheng looks up at her. Qingli, you're here. There was no the usual closeness in his tone, only a coldness eager to cut things off. Shen Qingli sat down. Director, what can I do for you? Yus Hengheng pushed a project list in front of her. These are the Hongqing projects you were in charge of for the past 3 years. The audit team requests itemized explanations of the data flow. Shen Qingli glanced at it. There were more than 20 items densely listed above. At least half of them were introduced by Su Yan to Tahi. She had never seriously thought about this issue before, because Xian Yan never claimed credit for these contributions. He only said, when she needed clients, that he could ask around for her. Then the project started coming in. Later she got used to it. She really believed it was something she had earned through her ability. Shui Lan spoke. Lawyer Shen, we need you to provide the handover records for all project documents, client authorization records, and takeout approval records. Shen Qingli's voice was dry. Some early projects, the processes were incomplete at the time. Shui Lan looked at her. Is it incomplete? Or was it not done? The meeting room fell silent. Yu Xingheng immediately frowned. President Shui, Tahi has always had internal management systems. Shui Lan's expression was cold as he looked at him. Then please, Director Yu, bring out the approval records. Yu Xingheng choked up. Another auditor, Hao Cheng, opened the notebook. At present, we located 3 early major project drafts, all transmitted through Attorney Shen's personal email. There is no complete trace left on the Tahi server. May I ask if this is authorized by the law firm, or a personal act? Yu Xingheng's expression changed. He looked at Shen Qingli. Qingli, how can you send client files using a personal email? Shen Qingli froze. That was 4 years ago. At that time, the Tahi system collapsed. And the project was rushing to submit materials. She asked Yi Zhengheng. Yu Zhengheng only said one sentence at the time. Finish the job first. Now, it seems he understands for the first time. Shen Qingli looked at him. To the director. It was you who told me to handle it first. Yu Zhengheng's face sank completely. Do you have evidence? Shen Qingli opened her mouth. No. That sentence was said in the break room. No emails. No recordings. No written confirmations whatsoever. She suddenly remembered that Su Yan had reminded her before. Qingli, for important matters don't rely on words alone. You're a lawyer. Don't leave others with an opportunity to seize. At that time she replied him impatiently. Things inside our law firm that you don't understand. Looking back now, the person who truly didn't understand was her. Shuelon placed another document on the table. In addition, Hongqing believes there is an issue of over-retained materials in some projects by Taihe. This isn't just about lawyer Shen personally. Yu Zhengheng's forehead gave a sudden twitch. President Shui. You can't say that. Shuelon raised her eyes. That's why we're here to audit. The conference room door opened. The administrator walked in and whispered. Director Yu. Someone from Su's consulting has arrived. Shen Qingli's heart suddenly skipped a beat. In the next second, Su Yan walked in. Behind him were 2 project managers and old Zhou. Everyone in the meeting room stood up. Lian Yuzheng barely managed to squeeze out a smile. President Su. Shen Qingli watched this scene. Her heart feeling heavily pressed by something. In the Shen family for 3 years, Su Yan was called the most. A poor devil. A useless person. Qingli's husband. And here, everyone called him Mr. Su. Su Yan did not look at her. He sat down beside Shuelon and opened the file. Continue. Auditors reported immediately. President Su. Taihe is currently unable to provide 3 takeout approval documents. And 2 sets of record of destruction are missing. Additionally, backup files for 4 projects are still stored on Attorney Shen's private device. Shen Qingli was startled. Private device. The auditors looked at her. Your personal laptop has logged into the internal TAIE system multiple times and downloaded macro project materials. Shen Qingli immediately explained. That computer is the one I use to work overtime at home. The information has not been leaked. Su Yan final. Ly looked up at her. Shen Qingli, do you think not causing any consequences means there is no problem? Shen Qingli's face turned pale. She couldn't answer. Because yesterday she had just witnessed it with her own eyes. The consequences had already occurred. Yan Yaozu's Circlio-friend's photo is enough to shatter all her luck. Yu Zhengheng hurriedly said. President Su. Qingli indeed has some negligence. But Taihe is willing to fully cooperate with the rectification. Hongqing and Taihe have cooperated for many years. There's no need to negate everything because of one person. Shen Qingli sharpened her gaze at him. A problem for one person. This sentence is colder than a dismissal email. Su Yan closed the file. Director Yu. Why choose Taihe back then? Hongqing, you should be clear. Yu Zhengheng's face froze. Su Yan continued speaking. I'm giving you a chance. Because Shen Qingli is here. Not because Taihe is irreplaceable. The conference room was terrifyingly quiet. Shen Qingli's fingertips started to tingle. Yu Zhengheng's smile couldn't hold steady. President Su. Our collaboration back then was indeed greatly thanks to your introductions. But Tahi has also contributed a lot over the years. Su Yan said lightly. Contribution does not equal permission to violate rules. Nor does it mean that when something goes wrong you dump people overboard. Shuel. And handed over a supplementary letter. The Hongqing decision to pause all new cooperation with Taihe. Existing projects enter audit settlement. Regarding the portion involving breach of duty, it will be notified separately by the legal team. Yu Zhengheng's face turned completely pale. This is equivalent to not only removing Shen Qingli, but she flipped over half of the Tahi table. Shen Qingli looked at Su Yan. She suddenly couldn't tell whether he was punishing her or punishing all those who had once taken advantage of her. Su Yan stood up. Lawyer Shen. These 3 words made Shen Qingli tremble from the heart. He used to call her that very rarely. Submit your private equipment to the Law Association and Hongqing for evidence collection this afternoon. If you refuse, we will apply for preservation. Shen Qingli spoke with difficulty. I won't refuse. Su Yan nods and turns to leave. As he reached the doorway, Yu Zhengheng suddenly spoke. President Su. Leave a line for everything. Su Yan paused. He turned to look at Yu Xingheng. Director Yu. I stayed there. You didn't cherish it. After he finished speaking, he walked out of the meeting room. Shen Qingli sat in place, unmoving for a long time. Yu Xingheng suddenly spread the flames onto her. Shen Qingli, look at the trouble you've caused. Shen Qingli looked up at him. There was no anger in her eyes, only a weary lucidity remaining. Director, you just said it was my problem alone. May I ask one question? Back then, when Hongqing's first contract entered Taihe, why didn't you say that was Su Yan's resource? Yu Xingheng's expression turned unpleasant. Does it matter to talk about these now? Shen Qingli smiled gently. Yes. At least I know who once lifted me up and who pushed me down. She stood up. My things. I will clear them out. My responsibility. I will bear it. But don't think that Taihe's responsibility can be all pinned on me. Yu Xingheng slammed the table. Shen Qingli, do you still want to stay in this industry? Shen Qingli looked at him. Didn't you already say I couldn't stay anymore? She turned and left the conference room. In the corridor, Xiao Chen, the assistant who used to follow her, stood to the side with red eyes. Lawyer Shen. Shen Qingli stopped. Xiao Chen handed her a paper bag. These are your private items in your office. Administration said you're not allowed to go in alone. Shen Qingli took the paper bag. Inside there were only a few books, a cup, and an old photograph. The photo was taken on the day she was chosen as a partner candidate. She stands before the Taihe backdrop, smiling with swagger. In the corner of the photo, Su Yan stands at a distance. He did not take a seat. He simply watches her quietly. At the celebratory banquet that day, Zhao Mailan spoke in front of the relatives as well. We of Qingli rely on our own abilities, not like some people who only know how to bask in the glory. Su Yan was there at the time as well. He just lowered his head and took a sip of tea. Shen Qingli looked at the photo, and tears suddenly fell. At this moment, Xiao Chen lowered his voice. Lawyer Shen. There is one more thing. Director, you just had someone organize the materials. He is preparing to submit new explanations to the Bar Association. Shen Qingli raised her head. What explanations? Xiao Chen's face turned pale. He said that all the materials management for the Hongqing project back then was personally handled by you. If anything goes wrong, the law firm won't be aware. 09. Shen Qingli stands in the Taihe corridor holding a paper bag. People moved about all around, yet not a single person dared to look at her directly. After Xiao Chen finished saying those words, his eyes turned redder. Lawyer Shen, I can only tell you this. I can't help you anymore. Shen Qingli nodded. Thank you. Xiao Chen bit his lip. In fact, everyone knows that back then many things weren't decided by you alone. But now the macro is too powerful to be checked. No one dares to speak. Shen Qingli smiled faintly. I know. She didn't blame Xiao Chen. She suddenly realized that in the adult world, many people are not unaware of the truth. They just feel that the truth isn't worth the price to pay. She walked out of Taihe building. A few cars were parked downstairs. The reporters, not knowing where the news came from, had already surrounded the door. When she came out, someone immediately rushed up. Attorney Shen, may I ask if you were fired by Taihe for leaking client information? Online rumors say your ex-husband Su Yankai is the real supplier for Hongqing resources. Is that true? Is your mother forcing you to divorce because she doesn't know Su Yan's identity? Will sharing private information from Shen Yaozu's circle of friends involve criminal liability? Each question is like a knife. Was forced to step back half a step. She wants to explain, but she finds that no amount of explanation can make her seem innocent. She did take the materials home. Shen Yaozu did take photos. Su Yan. She indeed lost everything on the day of the divorce. The security guards rushed over to keep the reporters apart. Shen Qingli lowered her head and walked to the roadside. The phone rang at this moment. It was Zhao Mailan. She picked up the call, and before she could speak, she heard Zhao Mailan crying out, Qingli, hurry back. The court people are still at home. They say to register the valuables inside the house. Your younger brother is nearly scared to death. Shen Qingli closed her eyes. I'll be right back. Zhao Mailan lowered her voice again. Also, your dad says we can't just sit and wait for things to happen. He contacted a media friend. Prepare to expose what Su Yan previously ate soft meals for. Shen Qingli paused abruptly. What did you say? Zhao Mailan hurriedly said. Your dad is helpless too. Now everyone online is cursing us. We have to fight back somehow. Shen Qingli spoke coldly. Counterattack what? Did X buy the house? Did Su Yan buy the car? Did Su Yan make Yuchen a client? Or you sit on the windowsill and force him to sign the divorce agreement? Zhao Milan was asked and choked on the question. And we can't let him bully us like this. Shen Qingli said every word clearly. Mom. If you dare go to the media and spread rumors, there really is no turning back from this. Zhao Milan still had something to say, when suddenly Shen Dihai's voice came from the other end of the line. Why are you telling her all these? She can't rely on him anymore. The call was disconnected. Shen Qingli held the phone, her heart sinking bit by bit. She immediately dialed Shen Dihai. No one answered the call. Dial again. Still no one answered. She hailed a ride back to the Shen family home. On the way, online posts about her were growing bigger and bigger. Someone uncovered several major clients she had taken on in the past few years. Someone compiled a timeline of Hongqing Group's cooperation with Tahi law firm. Someone even surfaced Zhao Milan's chat records from a relatives group chat. My son-in-law doesn't have much ability. He just knows how to flatter Qingli. Men have to be obedient if they have no money. Screenshots are piling up one after another. Shen Qingli felt a chill all over her body. She doesn't know who sent them out, but she knows these words are all true. When the taxi stopped at the entrance of the neighborhood, there were already many people gathered downstairs. Shen Qingli squeezed into the elevator. Just as I reached the doorstep, I heard Zhao Milan crying from inside. In the living room, Zhou Ting and court staff were inventorying the property. They did not move anything or mishandle it. They were registering it according to the law. Shen Yaozu sat on the sofa, his whole body like an eggplant bruised by frost. Shen Dihai stood at the edge of the balcony, holding his cell phone, his face grim. Shen Qingli entered, and the first thing she said was, "Dad, did you contact the media?" Shen Dihai frowned. Do you still have the nerve to ask? If you could coax Su Yan back, would I be so anxious about finding a solution? Shen Qingli fixed him with a stare. What did you post? Shen Dihai sneered. Of course. I will reveal the truth. Su Yan has been living off you for 3 years since joining the family, now turning hostile and ungrateful, forcing his mother-in-law to die, destroying her ex-wife's career. Shen Qingli's vision went dark. You're crazy. Zhou Ting looked up from the side. Mr. Shen, if you have already publicized false information, I suggest you delete it immediately. Shen Dihai sneers. Who are you trying to scare? I'm telling the truth. Zhou Ting calmly pushed his glasses. The facts require evidence. And Mr. Su holds complete financial records, project overview records, chat records, videos, and audio recordings. If you continue to spread false information, we will file a defamation lawsuit as well. Shen Dihai's face stiffened. Zhao Milan cried. How long are you planning to keep this up? Zhou Ting looked at her. Until all responsible parties are held accountable. At this moment, Shen Yaozu's phone rang suddenly. He glanced at it, and his expression changed in an instant. Sis, it is the police station. Shen Qingli's heart sank. Shen Yaozu trembled as he reached to connect. The phone is on speaker. A calm male voice sounded. Mr. Shen Yaozu, please come to the Southern City Police Station to cooperate with the investigation now. Shen Yaozu's voice trembled. What are you investigating? The other party spoke. Regarding you filming and disseminating confidential project materials related to Macroching Group. The relevant materials may have been obtained by a third party. Please come to the scene immediately. The call was disconnected. There was no one speaking in the live-ing room. Zhao Milan pounced and hugged Shen Yaozu. He's just posting a moment on social media. How come we still have to go to the police station? Shen Yaozu was completely panicked. Sis, save me. You're a lawyer. You save me. Shen Qingli gazed at him. She had heard too many similar words before. Save me. Help me. Settle it. As if her profession wasn't law, but a universal rag for wiping her family's butt. She closed her eyes tiredly. I'm barely holding myself together right now. Shen Yaozu suddenly stood up. So what should I do? Zhou Ting put away the documents. Mr. Shen, I suggest you be honest about it. Do not delete data. Do not collude. Do not contact the relevant personnel. Shen Yaozu's leg went soft, almost causing him to kneel. Shen Dihai still wanted to project his father's authority. Qingli, you tell Su Yan. As long as he doesn't pursue it, this matter can be buried. Shen Qingli raised her head to look at him. Dad! You were just contacting the media to criticize him. Shen Dihai's face looked ugly. Isn't it not sent out yet? Zhou Ting gave him a glance. It has already been sent. Shen Dihai suddenly looked at his phone. On the screen, that media friend sent a message. The draft has been pushed. And the heat is rising. In the next second, Su Yan's name surged to the trending list again. The title is even sharper than before. Former wife's family exposes Su Yan living off his wife during the marriage. After the divorce he vows ruthless revenge. Zhao Mailan looks like she has grabbed a life-saving straw. Once it's out. It's out. Let everyone see what kind of person he is. Shen Qingli only felt a chill rising from her feet, because she was too clear about it. Since Su Yan dares to do everything publicly, he would never fear this kind of exposure. Sure enough. In less than 5 minutes, Su's consulting official account released a video. In the video, it shows the living room of the Shen family from yesterday. Zhao Mailan sits on the window sill on the 7th floor, pointing at Su Yan and cursing loudly. This beggar won't leave for 1 day, and I won't be able to sleep for a day. He is not worthy of my daughter. We must leave today. In the shot, everyone in the Shen family is standing in the living room. Shen Yaozu is smiling while holding his phone. Shen Qingli lowered her head and didn't say a word for Su Yan. At the end of the video, it shows Su Yan signing the divorce agreement. He looked up and spoke. Take the house. Take the car. Take the savings. The comments section exploded in an instant. Shen Dihai's phone began to vibrate like crazy. That media friend only replied with one sentence. Brother Shen, you ruined me. Immediately, Zhou Ting's phone rang. After answering it, he listened for only a few seconds before glancing at everyone in the Shen family. Mr. Su has asked me to inform all of you. The materials for the defamation lawsuit have been submitted. Additionally, the police will also synchronize and retrieve the original video of Shen Yaozu. Shen Yaozu's face turned pale. Zhao Mailan collapsed and sat on the ground, completely paralyzed. Shen Qingli watched Su Yan signing quietly on the screen, tears silently falling. Until this moment, she truly saw it. The person driven to the brink that day was never her mother, but Su Yan. The doorbell rang suddenly. Shen Qingli raised her head. Zhou Ting walked over to open the door. 2 policemen were standing outside the door. One of them showed his credentials. Shen Yaozu. Are you there? Please come with us for a moment. 10. When Shen Yaozu heard his name, he slammed himself back into the sofa. Zhao Mailan rushed forward in a panic. Standing in front of him. Police officer, are you guys mistaken? My son just posted something on his moments. He doesn't understand anything. The police officer looked at her. Is it that you don't understand? It needs to be investigated and confirmed afterward. Please cooperate with Shen Yaozu. Shen Yaozu's face turned pale. Even his voice changed. Sister. Save me. Shen Qingli stood in place, as if nailed to the ground. Since childhood, Shen Yaozu has always caused trouble in this way. He first calls for mother. If mom can't solve it, she should call her. If she can't solve it, she should let Su Yan tidy up the aftermath. But Su Yan is no longer here now. She no longer has the right to let Su Yan cover for anyone anymore. Shen Dihai frowned and stepped forward. Comrade, my son did not commit a crime. Isn't it inappropriate to take people away like this? The police spoke in a calm tone. We are only. If you refuse to cooperate, the consequences will be more serious. Shen Dihai wanted to speak more, but Zhou Ting spoke up. Mr. Shen, I suggest you cooperate. The focus of the current issue is not only the friend circle, but whether relevant data has been accessed by third parties and whether customers' trade secrets have been leaked. If we continue to procrastinate, the risk will only increase. Zhao Mailan heard the 2 characters' exacerbation and finally became afraid. She held Shen Yaozu's hand, crying and trembling. You ancestor, don't be afraid. Just say you don't know. You don't know anything. Zhou Ting looked at her coldly. Ms. Zhao. Inciting others to make false statements in front of the police is not appropriate. Zhao Mailan's cry paused. When Shen Yaozu was taken away by the police, his legs were rubbery. He walked to the door and looked back at Shen Qingli. Sis, you must save me. Shen Qingli looked at him, lips moving. Finally, only said, tell the truth. Shen Yaozu's gaze changed in an instant. There was not gratitude in it. Instead, there was resentment. as if blaming his sister for finally refusing to shield him from the knife. After the door closed, the living room fell into a dead, silent quiet. Zhao Milan sat on the floor, then suddenly looked up and shouted at Shen Qingli, "How could you let them take your brother away? Aren't you a lawyer? How do you have no solution at all?" Shen Qingli bowed her head and looked at her. "I can't even keep my own practicing certificate." Zhao Milan froze, then collapsed further into despair. "Isn't that because of Su Yan? If he doesn't pursue it, can these things happen?" Shen Qingli closed her eyes briefly. "Mom, you were the ones who forced him to divorce. Is it the ancestors who recorded the materials? Did Dad contact the media to spread the rumors first? We took it step by step and brought it to where it is now." Zhao Milan acted as if she hadn't heard anything. Just cried. "I don't care. You go beg Su Yan. Whether you kneel or cry. Get Yaozu out." Shen Qingli looked at her, and suddenly felt unfamiliar. She used to think her mother was just being stubborn, just concerned with face, just unable to express herself. But now she finally understands. Zhao Milan is not incapable of love. She simply loves only the part of her that she wants to love. She loves daughters who are useful, sons who can carry on the family line, and those who can give her a respectable status. As for Su Yan's tolerance, she has never treated it as a favor. As for Shen Qingli's fatigue, she has never truly seen it. Zhou Ting packed up the documents and prepared to leave. Shen Qingli called him back. "Lawyer Zhou." Zhou Ting stopped. Shen Qingli spoke haltingly. "Where is Su Yan now?" Zhou Ting looked at her. "Ms. Shen." "Mr. Su is not obligated to report his itinerary to you." Shen Qingli choked. "I know. I just want to see him once." Zhou Ting was silent for a moment. "I can pass along the message. But whether Mr. Su sees him or not is his decision." Shen Qingli nodded. "Thank you." After Zhou Ting left, Shen Dihai suddenly kicked over the bench beside the coffee table. "Useless. None of them is any good." Zhao Milan cried as she cursed him. "Are you useful? Wouldn't things have turned out like this if you hadn't gone to the media?" Shen Dihai's face turned pale. "Wasn't I doing this for my family?" Shen Qingli listened to them blaming each other, her ears buzzing with a whir. This is the home that she once frantically defended. When Su Yan was being humiliated, she said to endure it. When family members took advantage, she said not to mind it. She thought she was maintaining family ties. But what she managed to maintain is only a group of people who will never take responsibility. The phone suddenly vibrated. Shen Qingli glanced down. It was an official notice from the Bar Association. She was asked to suspend her professional activities during the investigation and to submit a written statement within 3 days. Her fingers tightened a little. In the next moment, another message popped up. From Xiao Chen. "Lawyer Shen. Director Yu has just handed a supplementary material to the Bar Association. He said that all classified documents under Hong Cheng's authority were taken away by you personally. And he also attached a copy of your signed confirmation." Shen Qingli fixed her gaze on the last few characters, and a chill ran down her spine. Signature confirmation. She has never signed before. 11. When Shen Qingli rushed to the Bar Association, it was almost dark already. She hadn't eaten all day, and her stomach hurt so tightly it felt constricted. What hurt more than her stomach was Xiao Chen's line confirming with a signature. If Yu Xingheng really forged her signature, then the matter would be more than an internal finger-pointing. Someone would pin all the blame on her. The staff from the Bar Association led her into a small conference room. There was a copy on the desk. "Lawyer Shen. This is the supplement submitted by Taihe Law Firm. Take a look first." Shen Qingli picked up the document. The first several pages are Tahi's management policies. At the back is attached a data takeaway confirmation slip. The project name is precisely the Hongqing MA case. The confirmer wrote her name, Shen Qingli. The handwriting is very similar. Even he final stroke she habitually ends with was mimicked almost exactly. But she knew. This isn't what she signed. Shen Qingli looked up. "This document is fake." The staff look at her. "Are you sure?" "Sure. Can you provide opposite evidence?" Shen Qingli clenched the edge of the file. "The date on this confirmation slip. I was in court outside the city that day. I was at the South City Intermediate Court from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The court hearing minutes and appearance records can prove it." The staff immediately took notes. "Please submit the relevant materials as soon as possible." Shen Qingli nodded. She had just stepped out of the meeting room when she saw Yu Xingheng standing at the far end of the corridor. He clearly didn't expect her to come so soon. The two of them stood a few meters apart, staring at each other. Yu Xingheng spoke first. "Qingli, don't blame me." Shen Qingli walked up to him. "Who made that signed confirmation form?" Yu Xingheng's face sank slightly. "You have to speak with evidence." Shen Qingli looked at him. "I appeared in court at the Nantong City Intermediate People's Court that day. Before you forged the documents. Did you not even check my itinerary?" Yu Xingheng's expression finally changed, but he quickly steadied himself. "Even if that list has flaws, it cannot change the fact that you brought materials home illegally." Shen Qingli smiled. "So you admit there's a problem?" Yu Xingheng's face froze. "I didn't say that." Shen Qingli stepped forward. "Director, you're afraid of Hong Cheng being held accountable. Afraid of the law firm getting into trouble. Afraid that your partner's seat isn't secure. So you want to push me out. I can understand. But if you forge signatures, it's no longer shifting the blame. This is a crime." Yu Xingheng's face froze completely. "Shen Qingli, you think you still have the right to threaten me now? You have already been dismissed by Taihe. Hongqing doesn't want you. Clients dodge you. And the Bar Association is investigating you. Right now you may not even be able to return to the industry." Shen Qingli listened to these words, and her heart grew calm instead. In the past, she was afraid of losing too much. Afraid of losing face. Afraid of disappointing her mother. Afraid of appearing incompetent in front of Su Yan. But after everything really collapsed, she suddenly wasn't as afraid anymore. She looked up at Yu Xingheng. "I losing my job doesn't mean I've lost my mind. I'm being investigated. It doesn't mean I can't strike back. You'd better pray that this fake material has nothing to do with you." Yu Xingheng sneered. "Strike back? What are you going to strike back with?" Shen Qingli did not answer, because her phone rang at this moment. On the screen was an unfamiliar number. She answered. A calm male voice came from the other end of the line. "Ms. Shen, I am Gu Nan, head of the Risk Control Department at Su's Consulting. Boss Su asks me to convey one thing to you." Shen Qingli's heart suddenly trembled. What did he say? Gu Nan spoke. "The takeout order submitted by Yu Xingheng has already shown anomalies. Su's family has detected. The original electronic template comes from the Taihe administrative system. The download account is not yours." Shen Qingli's breath caught. She looked up at Yu Xingheng. Yu Xingheng seemed to realize the content of the call was wrong. His brows furrowed. Gu Nan continued speaking. "Mr. Su also said so. Your own fault. Bear it yourself. Don't be stupid enough to identify with the filth others cast on you." The call ended. Shen Qingli held her phone, and her eye sockets suddenly grew hot. She knew this wasn't forgiveness. Nor was it a reversal. This was simply Su Yan's usual way of handling things. Account for her debts. Not a single one will be missing. Not counting her debts. And won't let others take advantage and pile it on. Yu Xingheng gazed at her. Whose phone is this? Shen Qingli put away her cell phone. Su's Risk Control Department. The redness on Yu Xingheng's face immediately faded a bit. Shen Qingli looked at him. Director, what did you just ask me to use to counterattack? Now the answer is here. Footsteps came from the end of the corridor. Shui Lan walked over with two people. She is holding a sealed evidence bag. Director Yu. The Hongqing audit team has just retrieved logs from the Taihe administrative system. There are some issues that may require you. Our personal explanation. Yu Xingheng forced a smile. President Shui, what do you mean by this? Shui Lan placed the evidence bag in front of him. The creation time of that confirmation form was 11:46 p.m. yesterday. Lawyer Shen was receiving a notification from the Bar Association at that time. And the login account is your assistant's account. Yu Xingheng's face turned completely pale. At that moment, the elevator doors opened. Two people in uniforms walked out. One of them looked at Yu Xingheng. Mr. Yu Xingheng. We received a report involving forged evidentiary materials. Please cooperate with the investigation. Shen Qingli stood in the corridor, watching Yu Xingheng finally show panic for the first time. And her phone buzzed again. Gu Nan sent a message. President Su. At 9 tonight at Su's consulting headquarters. You have 10 minutes to meet. Shen Qingli looked at those words, and her heart suddenly fluttered. 12. Su's consulting headquarters is on the top floor of the City East Financial Center. Shen Qingli had passed by here many times before. She knew that the rent for this building was expensive. and that those coming and going were all investment banks, funds, and large consulting firms. But she had never connected this place with Su Yan, because she had never truly understood Su Yan's work. She only knew that he owned a company, know that he is occasionally busy, know that he will always, when she needs him, casually resolve the problem. Then she naturally thinks that those resolutions are not worth mentioning. At 8:55 p.m., Shen Qingli stands in front of the Su Clinic reception desk. The lights are bright. There is an entire floor of open-plan offices behind the glass wall. Someone is holding a video conference in the meeting room. Someone is striding past with documents. There are no extravagant decorations. On the wall, only a single line of concise company name, Su's Consulting. After the front desk confirmed her identity, they led her into a reception room. Ms. Shen, please wait a moment. Shen Qingli sits down. There is a cup of warm water on the coffee table. She looks at that cup of water, suddenly thinking of how, every time she came back from court, Su Yan would also pour her a cup of warm water. She always took it without a second thought. There isn't even a single thank you sometimes. 9 o'clock sharp. The door was pushed open. Su Yan walked in. He had just finished the meeting. His cuffs slightly rolled up. Looking tired. But that kind of tiredness was completely different from when he was at the Shen family. At the Shen family, his exhaustion was silence and suppression. Here, his exhaustion contains a sense of control, like someone who has finally stood back in their own place. Shen Qingli stood up. Su Yan. Su Yan sat down across from her. 10 minutes. Shen Qingli's fingers tightened gently. The words she had prepared were all tangled again the moment she saw him. After a few seconds, she spoke. Thank you for taking care of Yu Xingheng. Su Yan looked at her. It's not helping you. Taihe forged materials, which will affect the results of Macro Cheng's audit. I'm just putting things back where they belong. Shen Qingli nodded. I know. The room fell quiet. She took a deep breath. I just found out today that Hongcheng's earliest contract was you giving to Taihe. Actually, it's not just Han Cheng, is it? Su Yan did not deny it. Several of the important clients you have were originally connected by me. Shen Qingli's eyes reddened. Why do you never say it? Su Yan said quietly. I said it. Would you believe me? Shen Qingli stiffened. She wanted to say she would, but she couldn't utter the words, because she knew she wouldn't. In those years, she was propelled higher and higher by the firm's chasing praise, the client's respect, and the relatives' compliments. She had grown used to herself as a top lawyer. She had grown used to Su Yan being the quiet husband behind her. If Su Yan told her that those resources came from him, she would probably think he was just trying to take credit. Even then I can become impatient. Will say, I have come this far, relying on my own abilities. Shen Qingli's tears fell. Sorry, I've owed you that line for too long. Su Yan's expression remained unchanged. I've received your apology. Others are unnecessary to mention. Shen Qingli felt a pang in her chest. I didn't expect you to forgive me immediately. Telly, I know we are already divorced. I know that many things cannot be returned to. I just want to tell you to your face. I really was wrong before. Su Yan looked at her. Shen Qingli, your biggest problem isn't the mistake. You always know what is right, yet choose the easiest path. Your mom is humiliating me. You know she's in the wrong. Your younger brother caused trouble. You know he should be responsible. The Tahi process is non-compliant. You know it's not compliant either. But you've let things go, because that's the easiest way. Shen Qingli's face turned paler and paler. This is sharper than any insult. Because every word he says is true. She once thought herself mature, rational, and able to see the bigger picture. The so-called ability to see the big picture is just letting the most patient person continue to suffer. Su Yan continued speaking. Your current result is not because I am getting back at you. All the questions you've let go of have finally come back to find you. Shen Qingli lowered her head, and tears hit the back of her hand. She whispered hoarsely, what else can I do? Su Yan was silent for a moment. Take on the responsibility. Cooperate with the investigation as required. Let the compensation be compensated. Let the severing from the Shen family be severed. Don't treat crying and regret as solutions anymore. Shen Qingli looked up at him. What if I do these things? Su Yan glanced at her. That's your own life. None of this concerns me. These 4 characters are very light, yet they caused Shen Qingli's heart to sink completely. She finally understood that Su Yan's visit today was not to give her hope, but to give her one last moment of clarity. The clock on the wall jumped to 9:10. Su Yan stood up. Time's up. Shen Qingli also stood up. She looked at him and finally asked the question she had never dared to ask. During these 3 years, was there ever a moment when you truly considered continuing to be with me? Su Yan's hand paused on the door handle. He was silent for a long time. So silent that Shen Qingli almost dared not breathe. In the end, he spoke. Has happened before. Shen Qingli's eyes filled with tears in an instant. Su Yan did not look back. But you have all worn it out by now. The door opened. The corridor lights came in. After Su Yan left, Shen Qingli stood alone in the reception room. Motionless for a long time. She thought she had already become numb from the pain. But the real pain was hearing with her own ears that someone who once loved her calmly said that everything had been exhausted, when she walked out of the Su family consulting office. It was almost 10:30. The phone just turned on, and dozens of missed calls flooded in, mostly from Zhao Mailan. There is also a text message. Shen Qingli, your brother had an accident. He's put all the blame on you at the police station. 13. Shen Qingli arrived at the South City police station near midnight. The lights in the corridor were so bright they looked pale. Zhao Mailan sits on the chair, her eyes swollen from crying. Shen Dihai stands by the window smoking, and only after being reminded by the on-duty police officer does he annoyingly stub out the cigarette. When Shen Qingli appears, Zhao Mailan immediately rushes over. Qingli, you've finally arrived. Go in quickly and explain clearly to them. Yaozu doesn't understand anything. He always does whatever you say. Shen Qingli paused her steps. She looked at Zhao Mailan. What are you saying? Zhao Mailan's eyes flashed for a moment. Mom didn't mean it that way. Mom means that those documents were originally yours. Yaozu just tapped once. How would he know how serious it is? Shen Qingli's heart sank a little. She finally understood what that text message meant. It's not Shen Yaozu who is panicking. They want to push her to the front again. Shen Dihai walked over, lowering his voice. Qingli, now isn't the time to throw a tantrum. You're a lawyer. You know how to say things that are most favorable to Yaozu. As long as you admit that you've confiscated the file badly, the most it's a mere inadvertent error for your ancestor. Shen Qingli looked at him. Then what about me? Shen Dihai frowned. You are already under investigation. What difference does one more thing or one less thing make? When these words fell, Shen Qingli suddenly felt cold all over. She once thought her father was only weak, just unwilling to get involved in the family's conflicts. It can be understood that at a critical moment, he would also have no hesitation to push her out. Zhao Mailan hurriedly held her hand. Qingli, your brother is still young. He can't have a criminal record. You're different. You have guts. Even if something happens now, you can rise again in the future. Shen Qingli quietly withdrew her hand. Mom, I'm also your daughter. Zhao Mailan was taken aback. She cried even harder in an instant. That's because you are my daughter. That's why I'm pleading with you. If something really happens to your brother, how will I and your father live? Shen Qingli looked at her and could not say a single word. At that moment, the door of the interrogation room opened. A police officer stepped out. Has Shen Qingli arrived? Shen Qingli looked up. I am. The police officer glanced at her. Come in and cooperate with the explanation. Shen Qingli walked into the interrogation room. Shen Yaozu sat on the other side of the table, his hair disheveled, his face deathly pale. When he saw her come in, he first dodged his gaze, then grabbed her as if clutching at a lifebuoy. Sister. Shen Qingli did not respond. The police officer slid a transcript in front of her. Shen Yaozu said that the materials he shot were with your consent. He also said that you once asked him to help you post on Moments to hype it up, to showcase the big project in your hands to the outside world. Shen Qingli slowly lifted her eyes and looked at Shen Yaozu. Did I ask you to hype it up on Moments? Shen Yaozu swallowed. Sister, I had no choice either. They're asking too many details. Don't put it that way. What should I do? Shen Qingli's voice was very soft. So you're putting the blame on me. Shen Yaoyu suddenly got anxious. That information was supposed to come home with you in the first place. If you didn't bring it home, could I have captured it? Besides, didn't you also say before that a lawyer needs influence, and that clients need to know how capable you are? Shen Qingli looked at him and suddenly smiled. I've said this sentence But I didn't ask you to post client confidential information on Moments. The police officer knocked on the desk. Please answer directly. Shen Qingli suppressed her emotions. I have never authorized Shen Yaozu to film, disseminate, or display any client information. I have also never allowed him to use my projects as content for publicity. Taking the materials home was my violation. And I am willing to bear professional disciplinary responsibility. Yet Shen Yaozu's filming and dissemination are his personal conduct. Shen Yaozu suddenly looked up. Gee. You can't say that. Shen Qingli looked at him. How should I say it then? Should I say you told me to film it? Should I say you told me to post it? Are you saying that I told you to take the project content and show it off to your friends? Shen Yaozu's eyes were flustered. I'm not showing off. The police officer opened another set of materials. Shen Yaozu. You didn't mention in your statement just now that besides posting on Moments, you also sent the original image to a person with the WeChat name Brother Liang. Shen Yaozu's face turned pale in an instant. Shen Qingli's breathing paused for a moment too. The police officers looked at him. Explain a bit. Shen Yaozu's lips trembled for a long while. That is my friend. He is involved in investments. He asked if my sister was working on a big project. So I just sent it casually. Shen Qingli closed her eyes. She suddenly felt the ground beneath her collapse completely. WeChat Moments has already become serious enough. But if the original image is forwarded to a third party separately, the situation changes completely. The police officer kept asking, did the other party pay you any fees? Or promise you any benefits? Shen Yaozu hurriedly shook his head. No, none at all. He said that when there were chances to make money in the future, he would take me along. Shen Qingli suddenly opened her eyes. Opportunities to make money. Shen Yaozu did not dare to look at her. The police officer placed the screenshot of the mobile phone on the table. In the chat records, after Shen Yaozu sent the original image, the other party replied, this project isn't small. Your sister is impressive. If the target company inside is confirmed, knowing the news in advance could earn a tidy sum. Shen Yaozu replied, Brother Liang. As long as you understand. Later take me to have soup. Shen Qingli looked at those lines. Her fingertips tingling bit by bit. She finally understood why Su Yan said this was only the first portion. Because this matter has never been as simple as a single circle of friends. Shen Yaozu still wanted to argue. I'm just joking. I don't know any insider information. The policeman spoke in a serious tone. Whether he's joking or not is not for you to decide. The counterpart has already been summoned. Further checks will be conducted to determine whether there has been trading based on undisclosed information or disseminating trade secrets. Shen Yaozu is thoroughly panicking. Big sister. Sis. Could you help explain it to me? Shen Qingli looked at him. She didn't go easy on him this time. I can't explain it. Say whatever you have done. Shen Yaozu's eyes gradually hardened with resentment. You just don't want to save me. Now you're abandoning even your own younger brother for Su Yan. Shen Qingli only felt. It was ridiculous. And what does this have to do with Su Yan? Shen Yaozu's eyes itched and roared. If it weren't for him chasing after me relentlessly, who would have found these? Isn't he just trying to get revenge on us? Are you still speaking on his behalf? Shen Qingli looked at him. Suddenly very calm. When no one investigates, you think you're not wrong. Someone pursued it. And you think others are too ruthless. You still haven't felt that you have done something wrong until now. Ancestor. Shen Yaozu was still about to speak. But the police restrained him. Don't get excited. Shen Qingli. You can go out and wait first. Shen Qingli stood up. When she reached the door, she heard Shen Yaozu call from behind. Sister. If you don't save me, I'll drag you down with me. Shen Qingli paused in her steps. She did not look back. Whatever you want. The door closed. Zhao Mailan pounced immediately. How is it? Did you tell them? Shen Qingli looked at her. I said it. Zhao Mailan's eyes lit up. Do you admit that you asked Yaozu to film it? Shen Qingli shook her head. I told the truth. Zhao Mailan's expression suddenly stiffened. In the next moment, she raised her hand, about to strike Shen Qingli. Shen Qingli did not hide. But that slap did not fall. A hand reached over from the side and grabbed Zhao Mailan's wrist. Zhao Mailan turned back, about to scold someone, but froze when she saw who it was. Su Yan stood under the hallway light, his expression cold. He was followed by Gu Nan and Zhou Ting. Shen Qingli also froze. Why are you here? Su Yan glanced at her. Before Liang Jiming was brought in, Su Group's risk control detected an abnormal transaction. It's related to He Hongcheng's acquisition target. Shen Qingli's face instantly turned pale. Su Yensong loosened Zhao Mailan's hand. His gaze traversed her and fell on the tightly closed door of the inquiry room. If it is confirmed that Shen Yaozu sold the materials to others, this matter will no longer be a civil dispute. 14. Zhao Mailan heard 4 words sold to someone. Her legs went weak and she almost fell to the ground. Shen Dihai also changed his expression. Su Yan. Don't talk nonsense. Even if the ancestor is muddled, he could not sell the information. Su Yan looked at him. You think it's impossible? Does that help? Shen Dihai was stumped into silence. Gu Nan handed a document to Zhou Ting. Zhou Ting opened it. His tone steady. 2 hours after the information was circulated, Shen Yaohu received a transfer of 30,000 yuan from Liang Jiming. The remark was consultancy fee. Zhao Mailan screamed instantly. What is 30,000 yuan to sell information for? Can't friends transfer some money between them? Gu Nan said coldly. On the day of the transfer, Liang Jiming's account bought a large amount of stock in the target company related to the merger and acquisition. The next day, he also placed additional buys through 2 related accounts. Although the Hongqing project had not been officially announced, the internal trading structure was already enough to influence market expectations. This is the problem. Shen Qingli stood still, a roar ringing in her ears. Having worked as a lawyer for so many years, she knew what this meant. Of course, even if Shen Yaozu is only showing off and looking for a small gaffe subjectively, as long as there is substantial leakage, it will be enough to drag everyone into the abyss. Zhao Mailan was still crying out. I don't understand these. Our family doesn't have much money either. Su Yan. You can't ruin Yaozu for the sake of 30,000 yuan. Su Yan looked at her. I can't ruin him. Only he himself can ruin himself. Shen Dihai's face turned grim. Are you here today to laugh at us? Xu Yan said softly. I am one of the people in charge of Hongcheng and the Su family. The client's business secrets appear to have leaked. I am here to assist with the investigation. It's not for you. Shen Dihai's lips moved, but he couldn't find anything to refute. Shen Qingli looked at Su Yan. Has Liang Jiming's side been confirmed? Su Yan said. Still checking, but his trading times are too coincidental. Shen Yaozu posted the chart. Liang Jiming bought in. Before the media exposed it, Liang Jiming had offloaded another portion of his positions. If it isn't a coincidence, he will bite Shen Yaozu out. Shen Qingli clenched her fingers tightly. She suddenly remembered that over the past few years Shen Yaozu had been fond of bragging about knowing some wealthy friends. Zhao Mailan also often says that boys should network more. Those banquets, those so-called resources, those expenditures used as face-saving displays, had long since laid hidden dangers. The inquiry room door opened again. The police officers stepped out. Shen Yaozu's family members. Please do not leave yet. The follow-up may require further verification of the situation. Zhao Mailan pounced forward. Comrade, may I go in to see my son? He has a small heart. The police officer said. It's not convenient right now. Zhao Mailan cried even more bitterly. Shen Dihai's phone suddenly rang. He glanced at it, and his expression instantly turned ugly. After the connection established, a frantic voice came from the other side. Brother Shen, your manuscript has caused trouble. A legal letter from Su's company has already been sent to the platform and to our company. The platform requires us to provide the source of the leak. Shen Dihai unconsciously looked at Su Yan. Su Yan had no expression. Zhou Ting spoke up. Mr. Shen, you contacted the media to release false information, which has already caused reputational damage. You will need to bear the corresponding responsibility in the aftermath. Shen Dihai forced a cold smile. I'm only saying what I know. Zhou Ting said. You know what you know may not be true. What you're spreading has already been debunked by the evidence. This is the difference. Shen Dihai's face slowly turned pale. Zhao Mailan suddenly turned the spearhead toward Shen Qingli. Why are you still standing there? You go beg him. He definitely has a way now. Shen Qingli did not move. Zhao Mailan rushed over and grabbed her. Do you have any conscience at all? Yaozu is your own younger brother. Are you just going to stand by and watch him suffer? Shen Qingli raised her eyes to look at her. Mom, what do you want me to beg him for? Do you want to say that the commercial secrets haven't been leaked? Are you asking him to say that Shen Yaozu confiscated the money? Ask him to let Hongqing withdraw the materials. Zhao Milan cried. Aren't you married for 3 years? He used to listen to you so much. Shen Qingli whispered. That's not it anymore. Zhao Milan froze for a moment, then collapsed onto the chair in a breakdown. So what do we do about our family? The house is preserved. Yaozu is under investigation. And you've lost your job. How can Su Yan be so ruthless? Shen Qingli looked at her mother, suddenly losing the energy to argue. She knew that in Zhao Milan's world, there would never be self-blame. Only that others are cruel. Su Yan turned and prepared to leave. Shen Qingli called out to him instinctively. Su Yan. He stopped, but did not turn around. Shen Qingli stepped forward a few steps. If further investigation requires my cooperation, I will cooperate. I will also hand over my personal devices. I won't run away again. Su Yan this moment turned his face to look at her. I hope you will do what you say. Shen Qingli nodded. I can. She paused for a moment, her voice a little lower. Also, that Shen Yaozu pushed to me, I won't recognize. I'll take responsibility for my own mistake. It isn't mine. And I won't bear it for anyone else again. Su Yan looked at her for a few seconds. You'd have said this sentence 3 years ago. Shen Qingli's eyes instantly reddened. She knew he was talking about the Shen family. It is also their marriage. Su Yan did not linger, and left with the people. When the elevator doors at the end of the corridor closed, Shen Qingli stood still, unmoving for a long time. Zhao Milan suddenly spoke coldly. Are you satisfied now? Shen Qingli turns around. Zhao Milan's eyes are full of grievance. You won't help your brother. Not asking Su Yan. Still telling him to cooperate with the investigation. Do you hate us? Shen Qingli looked at her. I didn't hate before. I don't want to hate anymore. I'm just tired. Shen Dihai said coldly. Just because I'm tired doesn't mean I won't manage the house. Shen Qingli looked at her father. When has this family ever cared for me? Shen Dihai was stunned. Shen Qingli continued speaking. I've been married for 3 years. And you all treat Su Yan like a stranger. He pays and works hard. Yet you say he's useless. He doesn't speak up. And you call him a coward. Every time I ask him to endure. It's because I think the family matters more. But now what? You make me take the blame for Shen Yaozu. Make me go beg my recently divorced ex-husband. Make me trade my last bit of dignity to placate you. Her voice wasn't loud, but every word was clear. Zhao Milan's lips trembled. Are you trying to sever ties with your family? Shen Qingli closed her eyes. If you still want me to take on responsibilities I shouldn't have to bear for anyone, then assume it is so. Zhao Milan suddenly stood up and pointed at her. You dare. Shen Qingli. Shen Qingli's phone vibrated at this moment. She glanced down at it. It is a new notice from the Bar Association. Because the case involves leakage of trade secrets and third-party transactions. Please Shen Qingli continue cooperating with the investigation and temporarily suspend all requests for practicing restoration. Meanwhile, another push notification popped up. There appears to be information leakage in the Hongqing merger and acquisition case. And abnormal transactions on related accounts are being monitored by regulatory authorities. Shen Qingli's face went completely pale. She looked up at the door of the interrogation room. She knew that from this moment on, Shen Yaozu's trouble would be more than just ruining her career. 15. When Shen Qingli returned home, it was already daylight. She hadn't closed her eyes all night. Zhao Milan and Shen Dihai stayed at the police station waiting for news. She came back because the Bar Association required her to submit a written explanation and her private equipment as soon as possible. When the door to the room opened, the living room looked as if a storm had swept through it. The list posted by court staff last night was still on the coffee table. No one picked up the cup that Zhao Milan knocked over in her collapse. That family portrait on the wall leaned to one side. In the photo, Shen Qingli stands in the middle. Zhao Milan is with her arm around her, and Shen Yaozu leans nearby, smiling flamboyantly. Su Yan is also in the photo. He stands at the very edge. Half of his shoulder is almost cut off by the frame. Shen Qingli looked at that photo and suddenly felt it was blinding. She walked into the study. There were still traces of folders left from the Hongqing project on the desk. She had stayed up countless nights working here. Su Yan will place the midnight snack at the doorway. She is sometimes so busy that she goes out at dawn only to see the insulated lunchbox still warm. And yet she has fallen asleep on the sofa. At that time she only felt Su Yan was considerate. But she never thought that someone who is long excluded from her life And who keeps offering warm water and late-night snacks again and again? Must have what depth of patience. She turned on the computer. There were shortcuts to Taiha's project files on the desktop. She didn't touch it again. She put the computer into an evidence bag, then found a few portable hard drives. When I was in the middle of... My phone rang. It's Xiao Chen. Lawyer Shen. Are you available to talk now? Shen Qingli answered. Convenient. Xiao Chen's voice was very low. Taiha's internal affairs are in turmoil. After Director Yu was taken away for cooperation in the investigation last night. The partners committee held a meeting overnight. They're ready to push more responsibility onto you. Closed her eyes. What else? Xiao Chen hesitated for a moment. They found some project handover forms you had signed before. They may say that you have been privately managing client information for a long time. Additionally, someone suggested issuing a risk alert to the industry. Shen Qingli clenched the phone. Risk warning. Just to remind other law firms and clients that there are compliance risks in cooperating with you. Xiao Chen's voice was choked with crying. Lawyer Shen. They are trying to seal off your path. Shen Qingli was silent for a few seconds. I know. Xiao Chen hurriedly said. You must find a way. If this thing gets sent out, it will be really hard for you to be a lawyer again in the future. Shen Qingli looked at the gradually brightening sky outside the window. She used to be most afraid of this sentence. But now, she finds that she has become calm instead. Thank you. Xiao Chen. Don't take any more risks sending me messages. Xiao Chen choked briefly. Lawyer Shen. I just feel it's not fair. Shen Qingli spoke softly. There are many unfair things in this world. But someone has to leave the evidence behind. After hanging up the phone, Shen Qingli opened her email. She began to search through the old emails one by one. She knew that Taiha, to nail her to the wall, would surely choose materials that favored him. She also knew that she had indeed violated rules and neglected duties in recent years. But she could not let Taiha pin all the system loopholes, management out of control, and forged materials on her alone. She exported 3 years of project communication records from the mailbox. Text extracted from the chat records showing Yu Xingheng arranging for her to temporarily take away materials from the schedule. She organized every remote court session and handover milestone. When the sun had risen, she had already prepared the first version of the explanation. She did not defend herself, only list the facts in chronological order. Where is her fault? Where is the law firm's approval missing? Where is Yu Xingheng's verbal instruction? Where is the administrative system's abnormal login? At the end, her fingers hovered over the keyboard. She suddenly remembered what Su Yan said last night. Don't keep crying and regretting as a solution anymore. She took a deep breath and saved the file. The doorbell rang at this moment. Shen Qingli walked out to open the door. Zhou Ting stood outside the door. There was also a young lawyer standing behind him. Shen Qingli paused in astonishment. Lawyer Zhou. Zhou Ting handed her a document. Ms. Shen, these are copies of materials that Mr. Su asked me to pass to you. Shen Qingli took them. What? Zhou Ting said. The abnormal logs of the Taiha administrative system organized by Su's risk control team. Among them are records of Yu Xingheng's assistant account downloading takeout confirmation templates. These do not directly conflict with macro-level complaints and can serve as supplementary evidence to support your claim that the materials are forged. Shen Qingli froze. She lowered her head and looked at the file bag. Throat lumped tight. Why did he give me this? Zhou Ting looked at her. Mr. Su said he would pursue the responsibility you should bear. But he won't accept others borrowing his knife to kill people who shouldn't be killed. Shen Qingli's eyes reddened. She tried to suppress her emotions. Thank him on my behalf. Zhou Ting nodded. Reese one more thing. Shen Qingli raised her head. Zhou Ting's tone was more formal than before. In Shen Yaozu's statement last night, he mentioned something related to you. Shen Qingli's heart sank. What's the matter? Zhou Ting said. He said you once kept a personal seal in your home study. He used it. Shen Qingli's face instantly changed color. What is it used for? Zhou Ting handed her another copy. Preliminary findings show that he used your personal seal to issue a legal opinion letter for a small company. The letterhead is not Taiha, but the signature uses your name. Shen Qingli felt a chill run down her spine. She steadied herself on the doorframe. Me before she could fall. When is it? This May. Shen Qingli's voice sounded hoarse. I have no idea at all. Zhou Ting said. Su's family currently only has clues from Liang Jiming. That company is connected with Liang Jiming. If the letter involves a false endorsement, you will be implicated. Shen Qingli clenched the documents, her knuckles turning white. She suddenly remembered that in May this year, Shen Yaozu had indeed come to her study. At the time she was preparing trial materials, and Zhao Milan called her out to eat. When she returned, the position of the inkpad on the desk had changed. She asked a question. Shen Yaozu smiled and said, "He was just picking up a pen." She did not press further. She was always like this. I feel that family members won't really cross the line. I feel there's no need to nitpick over small matters. In the end, every little thing became a nail hammered into her. Zhou Ting looked at her. "Ms. Shen, I suggest you immediately inform the Bar Association and the police. At the same time, check all your seals, signed documents, and electronic certificates for usage." Shen Qingli nods. "I will." Zhou Ting is ready to leave. Shen Qingli suddenly called him back. "Lawyer Zhou, did Su Yan know about all of this for a long time?" Zhou Ting paused for a moment. "Mr. Su is not a god. He just started investigating earlier than you." Shen Qingli forced a wry smile. "Me too." She sent Zhou Ting away and returned to the study. She opened the drawer and searched for that private seal. The box was still there. It was EMP. Tie inside. Shen Qingli's breath paused instantly. She tipped the entire drawer out. Documents, pens, ink pads, and old business cards scattered all over the place. "No, that seal is missing." She immediately dialed Shen Yaozu's number. Shut down. Dialing Zhao Milan. No one answered. Dialing Shen Dihai. Still no answer. Just as she was about to call the police, her phone suddenly received a stranger's text message. The message contained a photo. In the photo, a seal engraved with Shen Qingli's name was placed beside a loan agreement. The contract amount was 3 million. At the signature area, her private seal was clearly stamped. There was only one line in the message. "Lawyer Shen, someone should repay the money your brother owes." 16. Shen Qingli eyes the photo, her fingers beginning to tingle. The borrower on the contract is not Shen Yaozu. It is her. The loan purpose states corporate legal service advance funds turnover. The guarantor section remained blank. But at the bottom, her private seal was stamped. And next to it there was a crooked signature. Shen Qingli could tell at a glance that the signature was forged, but that private seal was genuine. Another text message just came in. Before 6 o'clock this afternoon, return 3 million principal plus 420,000 in interest, or we will go to the law association, to your home, and to your ex-husband's company to seek justice. Shen Qingli took a deep breath and immediately saved a screenshot. She did not call back the unfamiliar number. She first called the duty phone at Qingnan police station, explaining that her private seal might have been misused and applying to file a supplementary report. The desk officer asked her to bring the relevant materials and come over immediately. Shen Qingli packed up the computer, hard drive, and file bags, and also put the ink pad box and the empty seal box from the drawer into the bag. When she went out, she saw the skewed family photo in the living room and paused for a moment. A few seconds later, she walked over and took the photo frame off the wall. Behind the glass, Su Yan stood at the edge, like someone who could be dismissed from this family at any moment. Shen Qingli pulled out the photo, folded Su Yan's side, and carefully tucked it into her bag. She didn't know why she was doing this. Perhaps at this moment, she finally doesn't want Su Yan and the Shen family to be in the same photo anymore. When they arrived at the police station, Zhao Milan and Shen Dihai were still waiting in the hallway. Zhao Milan's eyes were swollen, and as soon as she saw her, she rushed over. "Qingli, you've finally come. You'd better hurry up and think of something. They say Yaozu might be detained." Shen Qingli stopped in her tracks. "Did you take my private seal?" Zhao Milan's face clearly stiffened. Shen Dihai frowned. "Why are you asking this now?" Shen Qingli looked at them. "Someone used my private seal to sign a 3 million loan contract." Zhao Milan's lips trembled. "What 3 million? Shen Qingli did not look at her. She stared at Shen Dihai. "Dad, do you know?" Shen Dihai avoided her gaze. "I don't know." That response came too quickly, as fast as if it had been prepared long ago. The last thread of luck in Shen Qingli's heart collapsed. She walked past them toward the inquiry room. Zhao Milan grabbed her. "Qingli, don't go in there and spill anything. Yaofu has already trouble enough as it is." Shen Qingli turned to look at her. "So that seal was really you who took it?" Zhao Milan's face turned pale. I didn't. I just saw it placed in the study. Afraid you would lose it. So I kept it for you. Shen Qingli laughed in anger. Where did you receive it from? Zhao Milan hesitated. Later, Yao Zhua said his friend's company needed to issue a certificate. He said it's just a formality. I have no idea about those things. Shen Qingli only felt a buzzing in her ears. She looked at her mother. Suddenly unable to utter a single word, Zhao Milan was still explaining. Mom really didn't know there would be a loan contract. Yao Zhu said he wants to start a business, and they want to see the legal documents before investing. I thought since you are his elder sister, helping your younger brother is what should be done, right? Shen Qingli's voice trembled. So you took my private seal and used it to guarantee for Shen Yaozu. Zhao Milan got anxious. Not a guarantee. Yaozu said there won't be any problem. He said Liang Chiming would just start with the materials, and the money would come back quickly. Shen Qingli closed her eyes. She used to think Zhao Milan was stupid, but at least she wouldn't harm her. But now she understands that a lot of harm doesn't require malice. As long as you are selfish enough, ignorant enough, and self-righteous enough, you can push a person down. The police officer came out from inside. Has Shen Qingli arrived? Shen Qingli looked up. I am. She handed over the document bag. I want to file an additional report. My personal seal seems to have been stolen, involving forged signatures, loan agreements, and possible illegal guarantees. Zhao Milan panicked the moment she heard this. Qingli, you can't report it to the authorities. Your reporting will ruin your ancestors. Shen Qingli did not look back. When he took my personal seal, he should have known there would be a day like this. Zhao Milan suddenly burst into tears. How could you be so ruthless? Your younger brother is already inside, and you still want to add guilt to him. Shen Qingli turned around and looked at her. Mom, you asked me yesterday to stand in for him and leak confidential client information. Today you're making me acknowledge 3 million in loans again. What about tomorrow? Tomorrow, if someone asks you to give him my practicing license, my house, and my life, would you also think it's only natural? Zhao Milan's lips trembled as she was questioned by her. Shen Dihai finally spoke. Qingli, something happened at home. We must present a united front to outsiders first. If you report it now, you'll just let outsiders laugh at us. Shen Qingli looked at him. Who is the outsider? Su Yan. Lawyers Association. Police. Are those the people you guys deceived again? Shen Dihai's face turned pale. Why are you talking to me like that? Shen Qingli's voice grew colder. From now on, I will only speak according to the law. If you also participate in stamping, sealing, lending, or concealing, I will tell the truth as it is. Zhao Milan truly comes to know this daughter for the first time. She gazed blankly at Shen Qingli, her eyes shifting from panic to resentment. For Su Yan, you're even willing to sue your own mother. Shen Qingli shook her head. Not for him. It's for myself. She followed the police into the questioning room. Shen Yaohu sat inside, looking worn and pale. When he saw Shen Qingli, his eyes lit up. Sister, you're here. Shen Qingli placed the photo on the table. What's going on with this loan contract? The color in Shen Yaozu's face instantly drained away. Which contract? Shen Qingli looked at him. You keep pretending. The police officer pushed the photocopy in front of Shen Yaozu. Shen Yaozu, explain a bit. Shen Yaozu glanced at it, and his lips trembled immediately. I don't know. Liang Jiming did this. I just lent him the seal to take a look. Shen Qingli almost laughed when she heard it. A private seal can still be lent to someone to take a look. Shen Yaozu was anxious. Sister, I really didn't mean to hurt you. Brother Liang said he has a project that almost ran out of money. He said that as long as there is endorsement from a top-notch lawyer like you, the funds will come down quickly. He promised to give me a 10% benefit. I thought you were so capable that even stamping a seal wouldn't be a problem. Shen Qingli's heart sank a little. So 3 million is real. Shen Yaozu shook his head in a hurry. Money hasn't arrived in my hands. Only gave me 100,000. The police officer immediately looked up. Where is the 100,000? Shen Yaozu bowed his head. I've paid off the car loan. Shen Qingli looked at him, suddenly feeling that half of her life of kinship was like a joke. She kept up appearances for this family. Su Yan kept cleaning up the aftermath for her every time. Finally, Shen Yaozu took her name, her seal, and her professional reputation to exchange for a loan on a car. The police officers continued to question. Who gave you the private seal? Shen Yaowu looked subconsciously toward the door. Shen Qingli did not miss this gaze. She asked softly. Your mother gave it to you, didn't she? Shen Yaozu remained silent. The police knocked on the desk. Answer. Shen Yaozu finally collapsed. Her mother took it, but she doesn't know what I'm going to do. She just told me not to get sister into trouble. Shen Qingli closed her eyes. It turns out they didn't not know she would be troubled. They just thought that as long as she didn't know, it wouldn't count as trouble. When the inquiry ended, it was already dark outside. Shen Qingli walked out of the room, and Zhao Mailan rushed over immediately. How would Yaozu say it? Shen Qingli looked at her. He said that the chapter is the one you gave. Zhao Mailan's face turned pale. He's talking nonsense. I'm just keeping it for you. Shen Qingli didn't want to argue anymore. She strapped on her bag and walked out. Zhao Mailan chased after her and shouted. Why? Oh, you can't leave. You have to stay and deal with this. The creditors have found our house. Shen Qingli's steps suddenly halted. Who found the home? Zhao Mailan's face turned ugly. Just a few people who want money. They said that if you don't pay back today, they'll hang a banner at the entrance of the community. Shen Qingli felt a stinging in her heart. She was about to speak when her phone rang. Still the same unfamiliar number. This time, she took it. A cold male voice came from the other end of the line. Lawyer Shen. The money your brother borrowed using your seal. Don't try to wriggle out of it. Shen Qingli spoke very steadily. The contract is suspected of forgery. I have already filed a report. The other party let out a laugh. Filed a report? You think filing a report means you don't have to pay back? Lawyer Shen. Your house is not bad. Your mother has already shown us a copy of the property deed. Shen Qingli suddenly looked at Zhao Mailan. Zhao Mailan's face turned white as paper in an instant. The voice on the other end of the line continued. Before 12 o'clock tonight. If we don't see the money, we'll wait at your doorstep. By then, the whole neighborhood will know that the gold medal lawyer owes money and won't pay. The call ended. Shen Qingli clenched the phone. The veins on the back of her hand bulging slightly. She looked at Zhao Mailan. Did you also give them a copy of the property deed? Zhao Mailan trembled with her lips. Wasn't I trying to back Yaozu up a bit? Shen Qingli suddenly laughed. While she laughed, tears began to fall. She finally understood. This home is not a pit. It is a whole swamp. She once dragged Su Yan to stand in there, and blamed him for not laughing as he sank down. 17. At 11:30 at night, Shen Qingli returned to the neighborhood. Sure enough, a few people were standing at the gate of the community. They did not hold banners or cause a scene. They simply smoked, leaning against the flower bed, their eyes dark as they stared at everyone entering or leaving. When Shen Qingli got out of the car, the bald-headed man at the head immediately stubbed out his cigarette. Lawyer Shen, you're finally back. Zhao Mailan followed behind, and as soon as she saw those people, she hid behind Shen Dihai in fear. Shen Dihai forced a smile to keep up appearances. What are you going to do? This is a society ruled by law. The buzzcut man laughed. We also haven't broken the law. Paying back debts is a matter of course. Shen Qingli took out her phone and started recording. I have already reported it to the police. If you continue to threaten, harass, or block the door, I will report it again. The man with a buzz cut frowned at her actions. Lawyer Shen, don't scare people with the police. There is your seal on the contract, your signature, and a copy of your house property certificate. Your brother took the money. Your mom is also present. Now you want to shirk just because you fabricated it. Shen Qingli's gaze fell on Zhao Mailan. Zhao Mailan's eyes dodged. Shen Qingli's voice was cold and hard. Are you in the room? Zhao Mailan hurriedly waved her hand. I'm not. I just went with Yaozu. They told me to sign as a witness. I didn't sign. The buzzcut man sneered. Aunt Zhao, what you're saying isn't very decent. Back then you said that Lawyer Shen is your daughter. If something happened, she would surely take responsibility. Zhao Mailan's face turned completely pale. Shen Qingli felt as if a sharp knife had been stabbed into her chest. She looked at Zhao Mailan. You even said this sentence. Zhao Mailan cried as she explained. Wasn't I just trying to reassure them? Yao Hu said only the last step remained. How would I know they're actually good at collecting debts? Shen Qingli suddenly didn't want to listen anymore. She dialed the emergency number and explained the situation in front of everyone. The buzzcut man's face changed. Go ahead, Lawyer Shen, if you want to play hardball. We'll play hardball with you. But you'd better think it through. Liang Jiming is missing now. The money was taken by your younger brother. And the seal is yours. If we don't receive payment, we can only pursue legal action. By that time, no one will be able to live peacefully in your house. After he finished speaking, he led people toward the roadside. Just before getting in the car, he looked back again. That's right. Your younger brother not only owes us one family. Zhao Mailan's legs went soft, and she directly sat on the ground. Shen Dihai was also stunned. Shen Qingli held her phone. And a chill ran down her back. Not just one. These 4 characters were like a suddenly opened black door. She didn't know how much else lay behind the door. Back home, Zhao Mailan completely collapsed. She sat in the living room, crying non-stop. I really don't know why this happened. I just want to help Yaozu. He is your younger brother. Shen Qingli put the bag on the table, her voice scarily calm. From now on, you must disclose everything related to borrowing money from Shen Yaozu, providing guarantees, stamping, and signing. Zhao Mailan's crying paused. Shen Dihai frowned. What kind of attitude is this? Shen Qingli looked at him. You're the same. You say as much as you know. Shen Dihai's face darkened. I don't know. Shen Qingli opened his phone and played back what the creditor just said. That line of Zhao Mailan. If something happens, she'll definitely confess. Was crystal clear. Shen Dihai's face finally changed. Shen Qingli said, I've already recorded it. You don't speak up. And if it's found out later, I won't defend anyone. Zhao Mailan wipes away her tears. There's one more thing. Shen Qingli's heart sinks. How much? Zhao Mailan did not dare to look at her. 800,000. Yaozu said it's for the studio's deposit. Shen Qingli asked. In whose name? Zhao Mailan's voice trembled. Yours. Shen Qingli closed her eyes. What else is there? Zhao Mailan cried even harder. I really don't know anymore. Shen Dihai roared irritably. What were you doing so early? You said it was only once. Right. Zhao Mailan snapped back. Are you blaming me now? When Yaozu asked you for money, you didn't also give a copy of your ID card. Did you? The living room fell silent in an instant. Shen Qingli slowly turned his head, looking at Shen Dihai. Copy of ID card. Shen Dihai's face was ugly. That is what he needs to use for his company. Shen Qingli smiled. Run a company under my identity. Shen Dihai did not say a word. Shen Qingli picked up her phone and began to look up company registration information. A few minutes later, her finger paused on the screen. A company named Xingyao Legal Consulting Service Company Ltd. appears on the page. Legal representative. Shen Qingli. Established time. This June. Shen Qingli stared at those 4 characters, and a darkness clouded her vision. She had never known that she owned another company. Even more absurd, the business scope listed legal consulting, corporate management, and investment and financing information consultation. She immediately opened the shareholder information. She held 90% of the shares. Shen Yaozu holds 10%. Shen Qingli slowly looked up. Who organized it? Zhao Mailan could no longer cry. Shen Dihai averted his gaze. Shen Qingli's voice turned a little colder. Who arranged it? Zhao Mailan said in a tremor. You'll be under the law firm's control and not free in the future. First, I'll set up a company for you as a backup. He said you would definitely agree. Shen Qingli almost couldn't breathe. Will you definitely agree? So you took my identity card, my private seal, my name, to start a company, borrow money, and issue documents. Zhao Mailan cried. We are family. What's wrong with using your name at home for a moment? Shen Qingli looked at her and suddenly became completely calm. She stopped questioning, no longer angry, because she realized that what stood between her and Zhao Mailan was not a misunderstanding. It was that their understandings of the word bottom line were completely different. In Zhao Mailan's eyes, everything about Shen Qingli belongs to this family. Her profession is the family's face. Her money is the family's money. Her marriage is the family's bargaining chip. Her name can also be used to pave the way for Shen Yaozu. Shen Qingli picked up the computer, logged into the government affairs platform, and applied to retrieve the company registration archives. She saved screenshots of all pages, along with the recordings and text messages. Then she dialed the Law Society investigation team phone. Hello. I'm Shen Qingli. I need to add an important situation to the record. Someone has registered a company using my identity without my consent and has issued legal documents in the name of that company to the outside world. Zhao Mailan suddenly lunged forward to grab her phone. Are you crazy? You're going to kill Yaoshu. Shen Qingli turned sideways to dodge. The staff on the other end of the line asked her to submit materials first thing tomorrow morning. After agreeing, Shen Qingli hung up the phone. Zhao Mailan pointed at her, so angry that she trembled all over. Are you still a member of the Shen family? Shen Qingli looked at her. From the moment you used my name to borrow money, I was no longer part of it. Shen Dihai said angrily. Shen Qingli, don't say that so definitively. Shen Qingli closed the computer. I'll move out tomorrow. Zhao Mailan froze. You move out? Where are you going? Shen Qingli said. This house is currently under preservation. I won't continue living with you. All future debts, investigations, and lawsuits I will handle according to the evidence. Zhao Mailan's eyes suddenly showed panic. What should I do about you and your father? Shen Qingli looked at her. Aren't you still have Yaozu? Note, this line may be better rendered as don't you still have Yaozu? Zhao Mailan was choked and couldn't speak. At that moment, the doorbell suddenly rang. Everyone in the living room froze. Shen Dihai walked over to open the door. 2 uniformed workers stood outside, along with a community police officer. One of them showed his credentials. Is Ms. Shen Qingli here? Shen Qingli walked over. I am here. The other party handed her a document. We are staff of the Market Regulation Department. Upon receiving a lead, Qingyao Legal Consultation Services Company Ltd. is suspected of impersonating identities to register and illegally provide legal services. Please come to the scene tomorrow at 9 a.m. to cooperate with the investigation. Shen Qingli took over the document. Before she could speak, the staff looked back into the room. In addition, Shen Yaozu is one of the registered shareholders of the company and needs to cooperate as well. Zhao Mailan's face turned alarmingly pale. The staff continued speaking. During the preliminary review, the company had issued multiple legal opinion documents, one of which concerns a financing project controlled by Liang Jiming. Shen Qingli's heart suddenly sank. What is the amount of the financing project? The staff gave her a glance. Currently, registration materials show that investor funds are not less than 80 million. The living room fell silent in an instant. Zhao Mailan rolled her eyes and fainted directly to the ground. 18. When Zhao Mailan woke up, she was already lying in the hospital emergency observation room. Shen Dihai sat nearby, his face gray and wan. Shen Qingliang did not stay at the bedside. She stood at the end of the corridor, taking photos and saving page by page of the materials sent by the market. She is not worried about Zhao Mailan. It's just that at this moment, she no longer dares to treat anything as a matter of the family doesn't understand. 800 million. This number weighs on her chest, making her breathing even more cautious. If Qingyao Legal Advisory Services Limited is really used to back Liang Jiming's financing project, what she faces will be more than just a bar association sanction, client complaints, and debt disputes. She is very likely to be drawn into an illegal financing scam, even if she never participated. As long as her name, private seal, and personal information appear in the documents, she must pull herself out of the mire piece by piece. The phone rang. It is Gu Nan. Shen Qingli answered the phone. Mr. Gu. Gu Nan spoke quickly. Ms. Shen. Mr. Su asked me to inform you, Liang Jiming has already been detained. He admitted to endorsing externally through Qingyao Legal Advisory Services Company Limited, but he claims Shen Yaozu is just an intermediary. Shen Qingli asked, did he mention me? Gu Nanchen fell silent for a second. Shen Qingli's heart sank. Go ahead. Gu Nan spoke. He said, the one who truly provides legal advice is you. Shen Qingli closed her eyes. She was not surprised. People like Liang Jiming will always push the blame onto someone more valuable when something goes wrong. A single Shen Yaozu isn't enough to block the blade. Only a gold medal lawyer like Shen Qingli is enough. Gu Nan continued speaking. He has several stamped documents in his hands, plus a recording. Voice tightens. What recording? In the recording, Shen Yaozu says, my sister is, and all of Hongqing's cases are handled by her. Things she nods to won't have problems. Shen Qingli clenched her phone. That's not what I said. Gu Nan spoke. We know, but the investigating authorities need evidence. Shen Qingli took a deep breath. I will submit all the evidence I am unaware of. Gu Nan paused for a moment. Mr. Su also asked me to remind you. Don't expect the Shen family to tell the truth on their own. Especially your mother. Shen Qingli instinctively turned back. Zhao Milan lay on the hospital bed, her face pale, tears still clinging to the corners of her eyes. Shen Dihai was comforting her in a low voice. If that scene had happened in the past, Shen Qingli would have softened at it. But now, she only felt a chill crawling up from behind. She asked, "Did he find out something?" Gu Nan did not answer directly. Half an hour ago, the police station supplemented the retrieval of the elevator surveillance in your neighborhood, on the afternoon of May 17th. You were in court out of town. Your mother left the neighborhood with Shen Yaozu. Shen Yaozu held a black file bag in his hand. Shen Qingli paused in breath. May 17th. It was the day before that legal opinion letter was signed. Gu Nan continued. On the same night, your mother received a transfer of 50,000 yuan from Liang Jiming. Note, this is for tea money. Shen Qingli's vision went black, and she steadied herself by leaning on the wall. She recalled Zhao Milan crying at the police station just now, saying that she understood nothing. She recalled Zhao Milan saying that she had merely collected the seal for her. She thought of Zhao Milan calling again and again. For this home. For the glory of the ancestors. So-called not understanding had also taken money. What it means to do it for the family also has its own benefits. Gu Nan said. Mr. Su suggests that you immediately inform the police about this transfer. If your mother keeps concealing, it will likely pull you in deeper in the aftermath. Shen Qingli's voice grew hoarse. I understand. After the phone call ended, she stood there for a long time. In the emergency corridor, people came and went. Some cried. Some called for doctors. Some helped an elderly person past her. Shen Qingli suddenly felt as if she were standing beside a very long river. The other side of the river is the home she once fought to defend. The river has risen, flooding Su Yan, flooding her career, and flooding her last bit of self-deception. She finally turned around and walked back to the ward. Zhao Milan saw her return and reached out immediately. Qingli, Mom is scared to death. You quick tell Mom. That 80 million thing has nothing to do with us. Right? Shen Qingli stood at the end of the bed, looking at her. Who did you and Shen Yaozu take my private seal to meet on May 17th? Zhao Milan's cries cut off abruptly. Shen Dihai frowned. Your mother just woke up. Why are you asking these things again? She did not look at him. She was just staring at Zhao Milan. Liang Jiming transferred 50,000 to you. Notes. Tea and water fees. Zhao Milan's face instantly changed. Shen Dihai was also stunned. What 5-10,000? Zhao Milan opened her mouth. That is. Shen Qingli finished saying it for her. Is that the money you're selling my name for? Zhao Milan gasped, like she'd been stabbed, and sat up abruptly. How can you say that about me? I am your mom. Shen Qingli's eyes turned red. So I'm more curious about why you can do this. Zhao Milan cried out in anguish. There was nothing I could do at that time. Yaozu said that once this matter is settled, he would obtain the investment. He wouldn't have to rely on you anymore afterward. Liang Jiming said to give a little hardship allowance. I thought there's no harm in taking it. How would I know it would involve 80 million? Shen Qingli could only feel that it was incredibly absurd. You don't know 80 million. Yet you can take my seal. Do you not know it's illegal? And still take the money. Do you not know the consequences? And still push me out. Zhao Milan was asked this question until tears fell. Mom was wrong. Mom really was wrong. But you can't just abandon Mom. Shen Qingli looked at her. Her voice so soft it was barely audible. You are wrong. Not because you harmed me. You are wrong. Because you realize things could no longer be contained. Zhao Milan's expression stiffened. Shen Dihai spoke angrily. Shen Qingli. Enough. She is your biological mother. Shen Qingli slowly turned her head. Dad, do you know about this 50,000? Shen Dihai's expression stiffened. Shen Qingli looked at his reaction. And the last bit of warmth in her heart also cooled. You know as well. Shen Dihai said stubbornly. I only know that Liang Jiming gave a bit of money. I don't know what they did with your seal. Shen Qingli nods. So you all know there's money. None of you know the consequences. She took out her phone and dialed the police station. Zhao Milan pounced like crazy to snatch it. What are you going to do? Shen Qingli stepped back. File a supplemental report. Zhao Milan shakes her head and weeps. Don't. Mom. Please. You can't send Mom in there as well. Shen Qingli's tears fell. I didn't send anyone in. I'm just saying what you've done. The call connected. In front of Zhao Milan and Shen Dihai. She fully explained everything. May 17th. The private seal. Transferring to Liang Jiming. And the 50,000 yuan tea money. Zhao Milan lay paralyzed on the hospital bed. As if her soul had been drawn out. Shen Dihai pointed at her. His hand trembling with anger. You're really crazy. Shen Qingli hung up the phone and looked at him. Maybe. I should have gone crazy once. The hospital ward door was pushed open at this moment. 2 police officers walked in. One of them looked at Zhao Milan. Miss. Zhao Milan. There are some details we need you to cooperate with in the investigation. Zhao Milan panicked completely. No. I won't go. I'm not feeling well. The police officer spoke calmly. We can wait for the doctor to confirm your physical condition. But please cooperate and provide an explanation first. Zhao Milan looked at Shen Qingli. Her eyes filled with despair and resentment. Shen Qingli. You will suffer retribution. Shen Qingli stood still. Neither avoiding nor crying. She just suddenly remembered that day when Zhao Milan sat on the 7th floor windowsill, threatening everyone with death and filial piety in the same way. At that time she chose to have Su Yan sign. Today. She finally did not let anyone else pay the price for this family. After the police took Zhao Milan away, Shen Dihai slapped him across. Shen Qingli did not dodge. A slap landed on her face. Stinging hotly. Everyone in the hallway looked over. Shen Dihai's eyes reddened as he cursed. Beast. You've even harmed your own mother. Shen Qingli tilted her head and didn't raise her head until a long time later. Daddy. This is the first time you've hit me. It might also be that last time. Shen Dihai paused in surprise. Shen Qingli picked up the bag and turned to leave. Behind him, Shen Dihai's furious voice rang out. If you leave, don't come back. Shen Qingli did not turn back. I had no intention of coming back in the first place. When she walked out of the hospital, a hint of gray-white just began to appear on the horizon. Phone vibrates. The Law Firm Association investigation team sent a notice. Due to new clues involving registrating a company under someone else's identity and illegal financing endorsements, Shen Qingli is to undergo joint inquiry at 2:00 this afternoon. Following that, Gu Nan sent another message. Liang Jiming submitted a so-called supplemental evidence. He explained the establishment of Qingyao Company. And Su Yan was also aware. Shen Qingli's steps suddenly halted. In the next second, the news push popped up. The Macro Qing information leak case escalates. Mysterious consultant Su Yan is implicated in suspicions of illegal financing endorsement. 19. Shen Qingli fixed her gaze on the news headline. Her whole body seeming to be nailed to the hospital door. Su Yan is implicated in suspicions of illegal financing endorsement. These few characters unsettled her more than when she was being investigated herself. She knew Su Yan wouldn't do such a thing, but she also knew that Xinyao Sue and Liang Jiming would throw whatever dirty water they could to get away. The phone rang again. It is Gu Nan. After Shen Qingli answered the call, the first thing she said was, "What is that piece of evidence?" Gu Nan replied. Liang Jiming submitted a chat screenshot. In the screenshot, Shen Yaozu said that Qingyao Company had the Su resources behind it, and President Su had overused his authority. Shen Qingli felt a chill at his fingertips. That's a lie. Gu Nanyu's tone was steady. The screenshot may not be fake, but whether the content is true is another matter. Shen Qingli understood. Shen Yaozu might indeed have said such a thing. What he is best at is using other people's mes to bolster his own image. Previously he used her name. Later, when he found Su Yan useful, he used Su Yan's name. Guan Nan continued speaking. The afternoon joint inquiry. President Su will also be present. You only need to tell the truth. Shen Qingli closed her eyes. I know. At 2 in the afternoon, the joint inquiry room was filled with people. The Law Society, Market Regulation, the Police, Hongqing Legal Affairs, and Su's Risk Control were all present. When Shen Qingli walked in, she saw Su Yan sitting at the far end of the long table. He wore a dark suit, and a stack of materials lay in front of him. He did not look at her. For some reason, Shen Qingli's tense nerves suddenly relaxed a little, even though she had been holding them tight all along. After the inquiry began, the staff first played a recording. The recording is Shen Yaozu's voice. Don't worry. My sister is a top-tier lawyer at Tahi. She handles all of Hongqing's cases. My brother-in-law also has resources there. You know the Su family consulting company, right? They're all on the inside. Liang Jiming's voice rang out afterward. Does Su Yanjun know? Shen Yaozu laughed softly. Doesn't he dare to not know? He couldn't even sit at the dining table in our house before. One word from my sister and he'd have to deal with it. After the recording finished, the interrogation room was terrifyingly quiet. Shen Qingli's face turned pale little by little. She is not afraid of being implicated. It was the first time she heard Shen Yaozu talk about Su Yan from a bystander's perspective. That kind of contempt and inevitability, like a knife, dissected her past 3 years of foolishness for everyone to see. The staff looked toward Shen Qingli. Lawyer Shen, are you aware of the content mentioned in the recording? Shen Qingli raised her head. Not aware. I am not aware of the registration of Qingyao Legal Consultation Services Company Ltd. I issued the document using my private seal. I am unaware. Shen Yaozu may have promised outwardly in my name or perhaps in Yaoyan's name. I am unaware. She paused, looking at Su Yan. Su Yan is even less likely to be aware. Liang Jiming was brought in with handcuffs on his wrists. He saw Su Yan, and a flash of light appeared in his eyes. The staff asked him to clarify the relationship between Qingyang Company and Su Shi Consulting. Liang Jiming replied immediately. Shen Yaozu once said that Su Yan would help. He said the Su family could vouch for the project. I thought they were like a family. So I believed it. Su Yan finally raised his eyes. What is the basis for what you believe? Liang Jiming swallowed hard. A verbal promise within a family. What more basis is needed? Su Yan replied lightly. What I'm asking is, what evidence do you have to prove that I know? Liang Jiming's forehead broke out in sweat. Shen Yaozu said so. Su Yan looked at the staff. I submitted 3 documents. Gu Nan immediately handed over the files. Su Yan's voice was steady. First, Su's Consulting has never had any business dealings with Qingyao Legal Consulting Services Company Ltd. Secondly, during the registration period of Qingyao Company, the Su law system had no contract, email, approval, or payment records related to the company. Third, when Su's risk control discovered that Qingyao Company had appropriated Shen Qingli's professional identity, they promptly submitted the lead to the regulatory authorities. He pulled out another printed document. This is Su's internal risk record. Record the time before what Liang Jiming called the disclosure. In other words, it's not that Su's family distanced themselves after being investigated, but that the Su family proactively detected the anomaly and reported it. Liang Jiming's expression changed completely. Shen Qingli also froze. She finally understood what Mr. Su meant when he said that Mr. Su isn't a god. Su Yan doesn't wait for the storm to hit his head before striking back. He had already prepared every move and left marks for them long ago. The staff continued to ask questions. Mr. Su, when did you first learn about Qingyao Company? Su Yan said. After Shen Yaozu disseminated Hongqing project materials, the Su family's risk control team conducted a backward inquiry into its funds and related enterprises and discovered it. Before this, I didn't know this company existed, and I didn't know my name was being used by them to boast to others. Liang Jiming suddenly grew anxious. But Shen Yaozu said you had previously introduced Hongqing clients to Shen Qingli. You already have an interest in it. Su Yan looked at him. I introduced compliant clients to my then wife. Which does not mean I allow you to use the Su family name to finance. You're mixing these two matters together to see who will take the blame for you. Liang Jiming's complexion was deathly pale. The interrogator placed a bank statement on the table. Liang Jiming, you transferred 50,000 yuan to Zhao Mailan, and 100,000 yuan to Shen Yaohu. In addition, after your account received the endorsement documents from Qingyao, you introduced funds from multiple investors. You say Su Yanji is aware, but there is currently no direct evidence. Liang Jiming's eyes finally faltered with panic. Shen Qingli sat nearby, her throat tightening. When it was her turn to add explanations, she handed over all the documents one by one. She submitted her records of appearing in court in another location, submitted a statement regarding the loss of the private seal, submitted the recording in which Zhao Mailan admits taking the seal, submitted the inquiry records showing Shen Yaozu registered the company without authorization. Finally, She placed a handwritten instruction on the table. I admit I have been severely negligent in the management of macro project documents. I am willing to accept accountability from the Bar Association and the client. But the registration of Qingyao Company, financing endorsements, unauthorized use of private seals, and false legal opinion documents were not actions I personally took. I request a lawful clarification. The staff nodded and accepted it. At the end of the meeting, Shen Qingli stood up. Her legs a little weak. She left the interrogation room and saw Su Yan in the corridor. He was whispering something to Gu Nan. Shen Qingli hesitated for a few seconds. Then walked over. Su Yan. Su Yan stopped. Shen Qingli whispered. Sorry. Again I dragged you into this. Su Yan looked at her. Not you who held it. It is Shen Yaozu. Shen Qingli's eyes burned with heat. Su Yan gave her no room for misunderstanding. But the root is that you've always let them think they could casually take someone else's life as collateral. Shen Qingli nodded with a pale face. I know. Su Yan turned to leave. Suddenly, frantic footsteps came from the other end of the corridor. Shen Dihai rushed over. He saw Su Yan. His eyes reddened. Su Yan. Are you satisfied now? Mei Lan was taken away. Yao Zhu was detained. And Qing Li is finished. Do you have to push the Shen family to death to be satisfied? Su Yan stopped in his tracks. He looked at Shen Dihai. Mr. Shen, your Shen family hasn't reached the point of death yet. Just that the time for settling the score has finally come. Shen Dihai's face turned pale with anger. Don't get too cocky. Qing Li, no matter what, is still your ex-wife. Su Yan spoke softly. So I didn't let the burden that wasn't hers to bear crush her. This is already my last bit of face for her. Shen Dihai still wanted to scold. Shen Qingli suddenly stepped in front of him. Dad! Enough! Shen Dihai glared at her. You still defend him? Shen Qingli looked at him. His voice soft, yet firm. I'm not defending him. I'm finally not going to lie for you anymore. Shen Dihai was stunned. In the next second, a staff member walked out of the interrogation room. Mr. Shen Dihai, regarding your contacting the media to disseminate false information, your cooperation in the investigation is also required. Shen Dihai's expression finally turned completely pale. 3 days later, the first batch of investigation conclusions emerged. The Su family consulting has no business relationship with Qingyao Company. Su Yan did not participate in Qingyao Company's registration, financing endorsement, or Liang Jiming project's operation. In the Hongqing information leakage case, the risk control materials submitted by the Su family and Hongqing were deemed valid evidence. That news article that dragged Su Yan into the affair was removed by the platform. The media account that released the exposé publicly apologized. Shen Dihai has also received materials for a DEFA Matan lawsuit, and the real collapse of the Shen family has just begun. Shen Yaozu has been subjected to compulsory measures in accordance with the law for suspected illegal acquisition and dissemination of commercial secret clues, as well as involvement in forging legal opinion documents and impersonating to register a company. Liang Jiming is suspected of illegally absorbing funds, trading using undisclosed information, and forging project endorsements, and has been put under investigation. Zhao Mailan, for assisting in transferring private seals, receiving Liang Jiming's transfers, and participating in the false endorsement process, has been repeatedly summoned. Shen Dihai, although not directly involved in affixing seals, provided a copy of his ID, contacted the media to spread rumors, and concealed part of the facts, and has also been drawn into the investigation and civil claims. Shen Qingli sits in the Bar Association conference room, listening to the interim handling opinions about her. The investigators spoke in a solemn tone. Lawyer Shen, regarding the improper removal and storage of materials for the Hongqing project, you have clear professional disciplinary issues. Considering that the leak was not initiated by you, and you subsequently cooperated with the investigation and submitted key evidence, the Bar Association intends to suspend your practice for 1 year, issue a public reprimand, and require you to participate in professional ethics training. 1 year. If it were in the past, Shen Qingli would have collapsed upon hearing this result. But now, she just closed her eyes. I accept. The investigator glanced at her. Do you have any other defense or objections? Shen Qingli shook her head. No, I did indeed make a mistake. I'll take responsibility for this result. As she stepped out of the Bar Association, she received a call from Zhao Mailan, on the other end of the line. Zhao Milan's voice was terribly hoarse. Qingli. Mom knows she's wrong. Can you come and see Mom? Shen Qingli stands at the bottom of the steps, watching the people coming and going. She didn't speak at once. Zhao Milan cried. The lawyer over there says the situation isn't good. Liang Jiming is pushing many things onto him. You can't ignore your brother. Shen Qingli's heart was very calm. So calm that she herself felt unfamiliar. I will hire a compliant criminal defense lawyer for him. The lawyer's fees will be paid from my personal account. In addition to that, I won't testify falsely for him. I won't help him press charges on someone else's behalf. And I won't bear debts that aren't mine. Zhao Milan's cries paused for a moment. How did you become like this? Shen Qingli said. I'm just turning back into a person with a bottom line. Zhao Milan suddenly became excited. What about me? I'm your mother. I was investigated too. Can't you say those 50,000 were you letting me collect? Shen Qingli gripped the phone, her eyes cooling bit by bit. Mom, this is the last time you'll ask me such a question. Zhao Milan froze. Shen Qingli continued speaking. If you make me lie for you again, I will submit this phone call recording as well. Zhao Milan's breathing suddenly became unsettled. Shen Qingli, are you really going to be so desperate? Shen Qingli closed her eyes for a moment. I'm not giving up. I just won't sink for anyone again. There was a long silence on the other end of the line. In the end, Zhao Milan cried and hung up the phone. In the afternoon, Shen Qingli returned to that house. A bailiff's writ is posted at the doorway. The room is empty. Zhao Milan and Shen Dihai have temporarily moved to relatives' home. The once bustling living room that made Su Yan gasp for air is now a mess all over the floor. Shen Qingli slowly packed up her things. She did not take an expensive bag. She did not take the trinkets those relatives had given her. She only took her documents, a few professional books, an old computer, and the photo that she had folded up. She stopped in her tracks at the doorway and looked back. This house was bought by Su Yan. It bears her name. She once believed this was a safeguard in her marriage, but now she finally understands that security guarantee is never just a house. As someone who is willing to give you the best things, while you do not cherish them properly. The next day, she took the initiative to contact Zhou Ting. Lawyer Zhou, I want to put this house up for sale. Zhou Ting doesn't seem surprised. Ms. Shen, there are preservation measures on the property at the moment. Relevant debts and rights restrictions need to be addressed first. Shen Qingli says. I know. Proceeds from selling the house, to be used first to reimburse Su Yan for the funds advanced for the Shen family. Compensation for defamation, and reasonable losses confirmed by Hongcheng and Su's family. If there's anything left, I'll deal with it later. Zhou Ting fell silent for a moment. This is the property Mr. Su's divorce agreement gives you. Shen Qingli whispered. I no longer have any right to take it with a clear conscience. Zhou Ting said. I will inform Mr. Su. That evening, Shen Qingli received the first message from Su Yan. Just one sentence. Do not let guilt guide your decisions. Shen Qingli looked for a long time. She replied. Not guilt. It's just that I finally want to bear it myself for once. This time. Su Yan did not go back again. But Shen Qingli felt that she had finally spoken correctly a sentence that had been late for a long time. A week later, Taihe law firm was officially held accountable by Hongcheng. Yu Xingheng's act of forging a takeout confirmation slip was substantiated. The internal information management of Taihe is chaotic, and the retention of client files violates regulations. As itemized in the audit report, the partners who were once eager to push Shen Qingli forward began to protect themselves. One by one, Taihe has halted several major businesses. Yu Xingheng was relieved of his partner duties and placed under investigation. Little Chen secretly sent Shang Qingli a message. Lawyer Shen, Director Yu's office has been sealed off. Everyone says that this time Tahi is really half finished. Shen Qingli looked at her phone, but did not feel delighted. She only felt empty. It turns out the high platform she once desperately stood on was really an unstable scaffold. Su Yan helped her up, yet she believed that was her soaring high. A few days later, Shen Yaozu's lawyer came to see her. The lawyer said that Shen Yaozu wanted to see her. Shen Qingli went through the glass. Shen Yaozu looked pale and almost unrecognizable from the once flamboyant younger brother. As soon as he saw Shen Qingli, tears started to fall. Sister, I'm sorry. Shen Qingli sat down. What do you want to say? Shen Yaozu cried. Please help me. I really don't want to go to prison. Shen Qingli looked at him. She thought she would soften at heart. But she didn't. I've already hired a lawyer. He will help you within the bounds of the law. Shen Yaozu became anxious. I don't want this. You. Go and beg Su Yan. If he simply says that nothing will be pursued, Hongqing on that side might be able to loosen up. Shen Qingli watched him quietly for a few seconds. Yaozu, do you still think that if others back down, you're not at fault? Shen Yaozu froze. Shen Qingli stands up. Cooperate with the investigation properly. This is the last thing I can say to you. Shen Yaozu taps the glass and calls out to her. Sister, you can't just ignore me. Shen Qingli did not turn back. When leaving the detention center, the sunlight was blinding. She raised her hand to block it. In a daze, she suddenly remembered the rainy night when Su Yan left the Shen family. That day he walked into the elevator alone, without looking back. The people who have truly decided to leave will have such quiet silhouettes. 21. 6 months later, the Hongqing merger and acquisition case relaunched. Su's Consulting Legal Affairs Collaboration Center, as the core risk control team, assisted Hongqing in completing the transaction settlement. At the press conference, Han Qishan personally mentioned Su Yan. Mr. Su has been an important advisor to Hongqing for many years. This timely loss control in this crisis owes to the professional judgment of Su's team. The camera pans over the audience. Su Yan sat in the front row. Expression calm. He did not linger for an extra second because of the applause. After the press conference, Lao Zhou drove the car to the entrance of the venue. President Su, go back to the company. Su Yengang nodded, and his phone rang. It was Zhou Ting. Mr. Su, the property disposition for Ms. Shen has been completed, after deducting necessary debts, compensation, and litigation costs. There is still a remaining balance. She said the leftover balance would be used to reimburse you for other funds advanced on behalf of the Shen family within the marriage but not included in the lawsuit. Su Yan looked out the car window. Let her keep it herself. Zhou Ting said. I have war. Nedyu. She said it's not giving back to you. It's giving back to the person who has been taking care of the aftermath for the Shen family all along. Su Yan was silent for a few seconds. Proceed according to procedure. Don't go out of your way to help. Don't make things difficult either. Zhou Tinjing nodded. After hanging up, Lao Zhou glanced at him in the rearview mirror. President Su. Ms. Shen seems to be working recently as a compliance consultant assistant at a company. Su Yandan hummed modestly. Old Zhou said nothing more. He has followed Su Yan for many years. Some people, President Su, do care not less. It's just that there is no turning back anymore. On the other side, Shen Qingli walked out of a small conference room. She is no longer the gold medal lawyer standing at the podium. Her professional license is still in the suspension period. She works as a compliance assistant at a medium-sized manufacturing company, organizing regulations, checking contracts, and taking meeting minutes every day. The salary is not high. No one calls her attorney Shen. At first, she was not used to it. But gradually, she actually started to feel secure. Because every document here must go through approval. Every external release must leave a trace. She writes an email to confirm every verbal instruction. Colleagues laugh at her for being too cautious. She just smiles. She won't let herself fall into, oh, the same trap again. During lunch break, Xiao Chen came to see her. Xiao Chen has left Taihe and moved to another law firm. She brought a cup of coffee. Lawyer Shen, I'm still used to calling you that. Shen Qingli took the coffee. Thank you. Xiao Chen sat down and spoke softly. Taihe has lost 2 more partners. RD things aren't going well over at Yuzhengheng's side. Where are Zhao Meilan and Shen Dihai? Shen Qingli lowered her eyes. My father paid a sum of money for defamation of reputation and providing false materials. My mother has been staying at a relative's house since being released on bail. Shen Yaozu's case is still proceeding. Xiao Chen hesitated for a moment. Do they still look for you? Shen Qingli nodded. They do. I changed my number. Only the lawyer's contact information is left. Xiao Chen looked at her. Have you really cut ties with your family? Shen Qingli was silent for a while. Not broken. Raising the boundary. If they fall ill and need legitimate support, I will take responsibility. If they want me to take the blame, repay debts, or lie, I won't intervene again. Xiao Chen let out a gentle sigh. That's good too. In the afternoon, Shen Qingli received a courier. Inside was a settlement confirmation. The several sums that Su Yan advanced for the Shen family have already been repaid through the disposal of the property. At the end of the document, there is Su Yan's signature. Su Yan. The two characters are still sharp and clean. Shen Qingli looked at it for a long time. Then finally tucked the file into the drawer. She didn't cry again. She had cried too many times already. And she finally understood that tears cannot compensate debts, cannot compensate mistakes, and cannot offset a person's love that has been exhausted. When leaving work, light rain began to fall. Shen Qingli walked to the bus stop with an umbrella. A black business car slowly drove past the intersection. She instinctively looked up. The window in the back seat of the car did not go down, but she knew that it might be Su Yan's car. She didn't chase after him, nor did she send a message. She just stood in the rain, gently gripping the umbrella handle. Some people had once held a long umbrella for her. After that person left, she learned to not get soaked herself. At the same time, Su Yan sat in the car and also saw Shen Qingli by the bus stop. Old Zhou asked, "President Su, should we stop?" Su Yan looked out the window. The rain left blurred lines on the glass. Shen Qingli stood there, much thinner than before, but also quieter than before. Su Yan withdrew his gaze. "There's no need." Old Zhou nodded, and the car continued to move forward. Su Yan's phone buzzed. It was an unfamiliar number. He opened it. There is only one line of text. Su Yan. "I have paid back everything I owe. I will live well from now on." Su Yan looked at that message, and did not reply. After a long while, he blocked the number. It wasn't out of resentment, nor was it for revenge. What was between them was that there really didn't need to be a future anymore. 1 year later, Shen Qingli regained her license to practice. She did not return to the large firm, nor did she chase after the so-called title of top lawyer. She and Little Chen opened a small compliance studio together. The first rule is written on the wall. All client information must not be removed from the office area. All external sending of documents must be double-checked by 2 people. All entrusted matters by friends and relatives must be registered in writing. Xiao Chen looked at that line of words and laughed at how stiff she was. Shen Qingli also laughed. "After you fall once, you should know where you must not step again." On the day of the opening, she received a bouquet of flowers. Unsignified. There is only one sentence on the card. "May you never mistake tolerance for love in the future." Shen Qingli looked at it for a long time. She doesn't know if it was given by Su Yan. Maybe it was. Maybe not. But she didn't ask. She laced the flowers by the window, then continued organizing the client files. The sunshine outside the window is very good. She finally no longer stood in anyone's shadow. And Su Yan also flew to North City on the same day. The new project for Su's consulting has officially started. Han Qishan shook hands with him in the airport VIP lounge. "Mr. Su, have all the past matters been dealt with cleanly?" Su Yan looked at the airplane outside the floor-to-ceiling window. "Cleaned up." Han Qishan smiled. "That's good. People still have to look forward." Su Yan did not speak. The boarding call sounded. He picked up his coat and headed toward the boarding gate. On his phone, the final closing notice regarding the Shen family had already been filed. Zhao Mailan can no longer threaten anyone with the windowsill. Shen Yaozu finally pays the price for his greed. Shen Dihai also finally understands that not all lies can be covered up by 3 words from a family. And Shen Qingli finally learns to shoulder the burden. As for Su Yan, he has stepped out of the door that once shut him in. This time, there is no rain outside the door, and no one to make him endure it any longer. He walked into the sunlight. No turning back.